Perfect diamonds are your brand new source of food. Only you've got nothing to lose. It looks just like it does in books. There's no more magic in me. Sucking dicks and giving looks. I've got to stay magical. You make me chew at my nails. Your breath is hot on mine. Your skin is far beyond fair. Now I know what's in between the sheets. I thought you were just a tiny hand. Run balls in my back with your tiny hand. Put the diamonds on your brand new source of food. Only you've got nothing to lose. It looks just like it does in books. There's no more magic in me. Sucking dicks and giving looks. I've got to stay magical. Stay magical. Stay magical. Stay magical. Stay magical. Stay magical. It looks just like it does in books. There's no more magic in me. Sucking dicks and giving looks. I've got to stay magical.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the podcast. For today's guest we have Nick Mullen.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Got me right there.
Can never finish, never win and fall apart into sin, to sin, to sin, to sin. Now one left half a man with still a lot of shit on my hands, my hands, my hands, my hands. First you wash and then you rinse. I am no king, I am no prince. Pull back your boys and check your guns. I am the worst in the world. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. First you wash and then you rinse. I am no king, I am no prince. Pull back your boys, retract your guns. I am the worst in the world. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. I wanna be a man, just wanna be a man. better make it last. You better make a mouth for me.
Alrighty. Alrighty. I am ill. I am ill today. Do not feel good one bit. But I got a donair. Robin a boba. How you doing? Gonna be watching. Oh fuck, I'm so sick. I don't feel good. We're gonna watch these dickheads argue with a cool guy today.
So yes, I'll be making sure that Lena's not out of pocket at all for this event. Hello everybody, and thank you for coming. This is the H3 show. The date is April 30th. The year is 2025. The guest is Sam Seder.
Which work, the realtor stuff?
Woo! Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder.
Now,
What is this fucking camera angle they have now?
Much requested. I've called him colloquially as approved Jew, Sam Seder. Of course, I say that lovingly, because he has nothing to do with this stupid.
They're obviously Jewish.
This stupid situation where people have demanded that I talk to him to show how serious I am about this. Well, I'm doing that, and tomorrow. I told Hassan that I would be speaking with Sam Seder first, as per his demand. Which means tomorrow.
It wasn't a demand, you numpty.
Which means Friday. Hassan Piker. Young Turk fame. The Uyghur name, or how do you say his last name? No, how do you say Chank's last name? Yeah, Uyghur? The Uyghur name. I don't know if that's the family name.
Yo!
We'll be calling in tomorrow at 12 or Friday. We don't do an episode tomorrow, Dan. They know what I mean.
A change of management without warning? Several people quit at once? And you as admin had to sort it out? Fuck, that's brutal. Sorry to hear that.
Realized.
Well, we're not gonna pay.
Also, Hassan never demanded you talk to Sam Seder. The message was, "Hey, Ethan, you're not gonna listen to me. I know you have a lot of respect for Sam Seder. Maybe he would be better suited to have this conversation with you because you share more, like you have more of a shared history and similar backgrounds because he's also Jewish." And fucking Ethan's like, "That's fucking anti-Semitic, telling me to talk to an approved Jew." It's like, you won't talk to Hassan. What do you expect, nerd?
Wallet would be fire though.
If I had to respond to all of that, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, which is covering the fucking news.
And I hate to pull him away from the news, you know. Thank you, by the way, to our wonderful and gracious sponsor, Game Time. It's game time, baby.
Sports betting?
And it is game time. I'm, of course, stressed up, guys, because you know how serious I'm taking this. I want to give a notification to Hassan, who I know is watching, and his fans. witnessing me exhibiting right now is actually a neurological disorder called Tourette syndrome. I'm not addicted to drugs. You guys used to know that.
I always thought Ethan was
That's
tweaking.
that's not what people are talking about when they're saying, "Oh, Ethan looks like he's on drugs now." It's your gaunt face and the fact that your tics turned into a sniffling nightmare. That's what people think you're on drugs from, not from this fucking. This tick is an old one. He has like 17 new ticks. People think he's on drugs because like a whole bunch of new ticks have come up because he's become a fucking genocidal supporting maniac Zionist freak.
Didn't know he had that shit.
Okay, Asman. Well, okay, Asman Gold's audience didn't know.
I try to be honest.
I feel like you guys used to know that, especially the fans who were watching the show. But now all I see is a lot of people on Haas Twitter and his community saying that I'm on cocaine because of my neurological disorder. So I have this unique opportunity to tell you guys, if you see twitching of any kind, do not panic. My kids are safe. Do not call CPS. My kids are safe. They are not in a drug den. I promise you guys. I'll take a drug test. I'll do it right now. Who's got one?
God, you're ugly.
Olivia's got one.
I got rushed to liver.
Nose goes.
I've never been as sober in my life, actually, to be honest. I haven't taken a drug in fucking, it's got to be a decade now.
You probably
Decade
need
plus going on
some.
here.
If your tics are that bad, you should probably get on some medication.
Well, we've got a little bit of time here at the top of the show. Oh. Okay. Okay. So there's another announcement that I want to make that's actually pretty big. You guys may have heard, I think a lot happened yesterday. I don't know if we've talked about that Harley dropped out officially. So Harley dropped out of Creator Clash officially. And again, Hassan, I know you're watching. I think that now your good friend Ian needs you more than ever. And it's time to step in and take that title card, baby.
This is not what podcasts are.
Oh, shut up. I'm trying to help you.
It's horrible.
God, you're the worst guy.
Exactly what they're saying to Lena's opponent. It's him,
wait, I wanna just see
dedicated to
this.
the laughs and the entertainment every episode. So stupid as fuck because we talk about it on the show all the time. Like they could have reasoned it. So first of all, here's what happened. They kind of thrust Lena into this horrible position.
Harley from Epic Mealtime, the drunk idiot guy. That could I think he gave himself brain damage from drinking too much, and that's coming from me. He's like a rabid Zionist now too, which is like wild to see happen. But he dropped out of the Creator Clash because people hurt Ethan's feelings.
And they go, oh my God, what? What do you mean you're in a weird position? And Lena reasonably is like, I'm going to do the event, which I think was very brave of her to still continue through and say she's going to do it. And by the way, huge for them. They should be kissing her feet. Because even though we're like at odds with Ian and the event, even to an extent, like we're probably still the only people on the internet talking about it. I still think I'm probably your biggest promoter.
Yeah,
So-
you're the biggest
so
victim.
whole
You're the biggest
premise of,
promoter.
like, oh, Lena needs
No one
to
exists
post to
other
her
than Ethan
social
Klein.
account.
No one exists.
You know,
Only Ethan.
or otherwise this fight doesn't work. It's stupid as fuck because we talk about it on the show all the time. Like they could have reasonably, and by the way, they're the ones that put her in that position, so they should have reasonably been like, that's fair. You know, we apologize for the situation we put you in. That's fair. We understand.
It's horrible.
Maybe just mention it on the show a few times if you can, which, by the way, we're doing. And I think we would have
Tickets available now.
Yeah, tickets available now, guys. By the way, Harley and Lena are out, but tickets are available now.
Wait, Lena's out now? You fucking bullied her into
Nina
quitting?
literally worked so hard. She's so strong. We have to get her in a fight somehow on this show.
I'd say we let her beat Ethan up.
I would love that.
The fuck did I do? Yeah, we were throwing some ideas around because we want Lena to be able to exhibit her maximum strength. My hairline looks crazy today, doesn't it?
I can't believe
came
they
extra
bullied.
crispy.
He bullied Lena out of fucking leaving. It's fucked.
Sorry, I'm just doing it crazy and stupid. It's not about me. All right.
I've never made fun of Ethan.
I saw
for
a
that.
picture of me when I was like 18 and I have the same hairline. They put them together side by side, same hairline. Hassan, if you're watching, I'm sorry, buddy. You only have so much time left.
that, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, which is covering the fucking news.
This isn't news, so I don't know why you're watching this, but okay, you do you, player.
He's not even. He's literally not even watching. He's literally covering the fucking news.
Student protest leader.
This
being
is
the
what
face
Hassan's
of a
doing.
student protest movement in
Look, this
Colombia.
isn't the news.
Being
I don't
on
know
the
what
right
you're
side
doing.
of
He's
history
literally
against the apartheid
covering
state of Israel, doing a fucking genocide.
news right
and
now.
Chuck
This is
Schumer
him
is too busy
lying.
going on his book tour,
This is like a
talking
fucking-
about how
the
the left
biggest
has a real
goddamn liar.
anti-Semitism problem.
He doesn't
and
even have it.
rightly
He doesn't even
agreeing
have it
with
in his
Donald Trump
fucking-
on how to deal with these bad boys. Okay, these bad guys who are
title.
saying mean things about the state of Israel. Who we see.
God damn it, dude. But yeah, okay.
Here's the thing, Hassan's audience. You guys know that I'm funnier and more entertaining. You don't have to.
You're not
torture yourself
funny
and watch
or
this fucking guy
entertaining.
scream and
Watching
whine
your
and
crash
cry
out
and,
is
like,
funny.
Yell at his
Whoa,
chat.
whoa, 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 whoa.
He yells at his chat. He eats chicken, and like he talks about the same shit every fucking day. Like, come have. We don't do any of that. We don't eat on the air. We don't talk about the
Yes,
same
you
things
do.
every day.
Oh my god.
And we are purely dedicated to the laughs and the entertainment every episode. So you don't have to suffer, okay?
We would never ever eat while doing the show.
I wouldn't. And no one on the crew. I prohibit food from the set.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Ethan
That's
was
so
speaking, I didn't
funny
know
that
that.
you're lying.
I guess Amazman Gold gets a pass because he doesn't understand what it's like to have a tick.
I tried saying it in the polite
Gasman
Wait, he
Gold
does
gets a
have a dick. He
pass.
does
The
have a- he
fucking
does have a
Nazi
brow
guy.
tattoo.
How come he has so much
never thought he'd do
charitability
that.
for the fucking
that.
Nazi?
That's great for you.
Goddamn actual anti-Semite, like guy, but like has so much smoke for everyone else. Any leftist
So,
creator
anyway,
pro-Palestine.
Yeah, I just want go ahead. I just wanted to end by saying I'm very proud of my wife for everything she's put into this. It's very scary. It was not easy seeing her be punched in the face. And anyone who's still going to try to use us and try to use her to make it seem like whatever the fuck they cook up, blame me. I'm the one that heavily pushed for her. I guess. at this
Blame
point,
AB, that's
so-
I agree. Blame
yeah,
him for whatever,
me,
whatever complaints
blame
you
me
got.
for everything.
Just
Just fucking blame me for everything.
We'd like to just blame AB here.
Yeah.
So what happened was they put Lena in this horrible position, and they're like, "No, you have to promote." And you guys made like a very reasonable request, being like, "I don't want to promote because if we do, our fans are going to be like, why are you doing this after what happened, right? So why should you have to piss off our fan base because of something they did? Obviously, a lot of people are understanding, but again, it's just weird. It's just a weird, awkward thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the Creator Clash team I was talking to. Basically, they were saying about her promoting, and I followed up with Ian, and he was not saying that to me. He was saying it was more about Froggy.
Yeah, he's a liar. He's a liar. You think that he's like Mr. Creator Clash and he doesn't know exactly what they're telling you on the phone and exactly what they're saying to Lena's opponent? It's him, and it's Anissa. He's lying. But
You don't
even
know
worse,
that.
he does a Fortnite L dance to fucking own his
That's way worse.
enemies in 2025. I know it, man. He did that. You guys saw that. Hassan's fans, I know you saw that. None of you laughed. Please tell me that. I know.
What? It was so
Don't
awesome.
tempt me.
Don't do it. No, don't do it.
I'll dab on him.
Don't do it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna Nazi salute him like you usually do.
So they were like, okay, well, if you don't promote it, then we're gonna drop you.
Pretty much, they were
right in
mentioning that as part of the initial agreement.
I
Yeah,
did
they were-
post. I did
They're
post
booking the
on
contract. Like in the contract, it says you have to do this, and it's like, well, okay. Well, in the contract, what does it say about you fucking like
I started pretty late.
calling my boss Islamophobic and thrusting me into like a civil war?
That's a really hard question.
It's not. It's the easy one.
Civil
It's really easy. It's really easy. So ultimately, I guess it seemed like the inevitability was that Lena was going to drop out. Now, basically,
But I don't have very much energy. I don't even know if I'm gonna keep
streaming.
streaming.
I believe that is a no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think they're going to have a single dime to spare anyway. Harley was smart. Apparently, he got paid up front.
What? Interesting. That's fucking insane.
It is insane. That's part of what pissed Harley off is that he told them from the beginning that he would only do it if everyone was getting paid the same amount. He also, interestingly, maybe I shouldn't say this because I'll leave it to him, but I think he said this publicly already about the payment. He did. He said everyone needs to get paid the same amount, and they agreed. And then he was talking to his opponent, LA Beast, and he was like, oh no, I'm getting paid this much, which is like significantly more than you.
That's horrible.
But Harley had the foresight to ask for the money up front, which is how it should be when they're asking you to fucking do all of this training. How much did you guys spend?
It's pretty much up there. I think we're probably around $12,000.
So you guys spent $12,000. And like, why should you guys be expected to front the cost for that? For their fucking event? It doesn't make any sense to me. But there it is. I didn't expect them to totally screw you guys in this way. So I will be reimbursing you guys, so don't worry about the money.
God damn it, the vibes are so
Would never.
fucking nasty on this show.
A moment ago.
Well, thank you so much.
A big fat 5-0 from Thomas Furkey.
I go hard at Becky.
Thank you so much.
Just atrocious vibes.
Thank you. That's so nice.
Oh boy.
I think for our audience, it's probably comforting in that I think a lot of people were like, fuck this event, but also we want to support Lena. So now it's just fuck this event. That's me saying that, not you guys.
Also,
talk
before
about that
the show even started,
and
I
being
just remembered there was
everyone
also
thinking he's
an
on
individual
drugs
named
thing.
Char Char, who also gifted 50. So there's been 250 gifted membership packages sent.
That's so nice. Thank
and
you.
Char Char also sent 50 pounds, British sterling. 50 gifted for 50 fam members. All I ask is for the 50 gifted, oh my god, yeah, yeah, yeah soundbite.
Yeah, you get yeah.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I used to watch this fucking show. I used to watch this show.
For all the thank you, Zach.
Thank you. Thank you.
For all the
Bring the fucking news.
I
Also,
used
I
to
wanna say
fucking
Hassan
watch
again,
the
and
show
since you're
every
watching,
episode. I never missed an episode.
This is how you take
What are you
care of your
drooling
people.
everywhere, you
want to
gross
talk about
dog?
socialism? Oh, socialism is the only way. Why is your mod Frogan begging for rent money? Meanwhile, I'm making
She's
it
not
rain
even. He's
on my
not.
people.
She's not a mod anymore.
Just saying.
Well, not exactly. I mean, you're reimbursing.
I mean, if I had $12,000 in ones, you don't say that wouldn't be raining.
Is that how you'd like to distribute
I'm
the
going
funds?
to pay them back in ones.
We actually spent $35,000 actually. Now that
Yeah, you lowballed it.
You're gonna have to provide receipts for that one. Yeah.
To be more.
Anywho.
This is why. This is why
that's
people
that.
think he's on drugs.
Yes, the Jews.
I am so
That is-
proud to be marching with so many Jews.
Yes,
and
the Jews. The Jews are here. Did we mention that?
That's why people think he's on drugs. Not because he's twitching. Hey, what's up? Not because he's twitching. But because he looks like that. Like, that's not a healthy man. That's this.
I am
He looks like how I
so
feel
proud
right now.
to be marching with so many Jews.
Yes,
and
the Jews.
An absolute menace.
That's because and one of us doesn't.
It's not even the worst one.
Anywho, we love the audience. We
Wait,
love
was Mac-
Hassan's audience, folks. We kid them.
That's
'cause we
you.
love them.
Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm fucking sick. I'm sick. I'm so sick. I thought I was just hungover. I don't think I was just hungover. I think I was actually sick.
I heard he was watching. I think he's probably regret it. He's probably
Yeah,
turned
you're
off by now.
You see the skull thing from him?
DS22, right?
No.
Yeah, we can
By the way,
talk.
thank you for supporting me on the skull thing. I know.
can give you a shout
you
after the
showed a lot of
stream if you're
grace.
available. So yesterday was just a complete write-off. I was in bed
What
all
was it
day.
Hassan said when he found out about the,
Start to
the
finish.
human skulls?
Do you see the skull thing from him?
And I don't even know if I have enough.
Thank you for your coverage on that.
I don't even know if I'm gonna stay streaming. I might hop off
should
early
bring
today.
the
I'm pretty
fucking
fucking
news.
exhausted.
Appreciate that.
Pretty tired.
Anywho, let's see what we got at the top.
I'll see
See y'all tomorrow.
Oh my god. Get to the Sam Cedar thing.
let's
You're
see.
so fucking horrible.
Is everybody brushing past how AB admitted to reenacting this? The avatar emoji things when we all became VTubers. Actually, it's been so long. Let me refresh. Let's all refresh here.
And I am Lady Big Titties.
So Eliz is awesome because the jiggle when she moves her head, like holy.
So this is the one part I messed up.
Okay. Oh my god. When is Sam Cedar gonna come on? I can't handle watching this. It's just he's so fucking boring. I can't believe I used to watch this much. Wonderful hat. Mine? My hood? You like my hood? Thank you.
And the initial.
Can't believe I used to watch this fucking show. That's so embarrassing for me.
You said it all right. How'd you do that? How'd you voice it all?
Had to get them.
You just say it after it happened?
I would, yes.
So embarrassing for me.
I would say it a second later, and then I moved all the audio over.
You just repeat what the show
I
was
was
saying?
repeating. Yeah, we were repeating what you guys were saying.
How long was this segment? My God, man.
It was pretty. It was substantial.
It's part of my. It's part of my
or something.
sweater.
20 minutes? Yeah. Okay. I love this hamburger emoji avatar.
Actually, I was wearing this in one of the.
As much as possible. Hold on, I think that hamburger's on cocaine.
Could be.
How to do the hamburger?
His
with your
eyebrows,
dick in your
man.
balls.
I think try to do like a big circle. Like
One
a
of
big
the-
circle. Oh yeah, let those titties bounce by.
God damn, mama.
What is it called?
Yeah, it's a shame you guys can't see it. Anywho, that was AB apparently, and Lena.
Some people are saying it didn't. matched
Uncle
the
outrage
audio.
videos.
I'm
What the
telling you guys,
fuck?
Back then, nobody noticed. There was no comments.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody noticed. How could you? It was masterfully done by a true artist. Mr. Beast's latest video, he has a veteran who's in a roadside bomb do a minefield.
Okay, oh my god. Okay, let's introduce y'all to who he's debating. Mr. fucking Sam goddamn Seder. Unk, as he's so lovingly referred to. Seen this one?
I don't know how much we've talked about Ed Martin.
He also, this is a little cute little side note on him. He voices the health inspector's
Welcome to your
assistant.
worst nightmare, Bob, except worse
Or
because
the-
of all the violations.
He does the health inspector. Sam Seder's the health inspector on Bob's Burgers.
Hugo, has this place even opened yet?
It opens next week. What's your point?
How bad can it be? It looks like a nice place. It's probably just a nice person serving nice food.
Oh, is it nice food, Bob?
should add
is it
that
a
to the
nice
title.
person serving nice food, Bob?
I don't know how you get through the day, Ron. What?
Why don't you put your mouth where your mouth is? No matter what happens in there, no matter what you see, no matter what you smell, you will eat a wrap at the end of this inspection.
Yeah, I'll eat a wrap. I'll eat the crap out of a wrap.
Okay, after you. Wait, no, you go after me. Ron, get the door.
Ooh, wow. Real-life health inspectors in my restaurant? Now this is getting real. Now this
But
is
that's
getting
him. That's
very
that's
real.
Sam Seder right there.
He is.
That's look at that. Look at that hot man. What a good looking man.
Acting U.S. Attorney General for D.C. There are U.S. attorneys who are part of the Department of Justice, and they are they're in every state in the country. New York has, I think, 4 different offices because of the size of the state: the Eastern District, the Western District, Northern and Southern District, Southern District of New York. Very famous for having a lot of
Just so you know,
independence. and
just so you
doing-
know who Ethan's going up against. I think he was just on Jubilee too. This was crazy.
It had to do with agencies that have nothing to do with the
Like this was so hard to watch. Sam Seder's fresh off a 20 verse 1 debate, and then he's going up against where'd it go? I want to have that fucking thing open. Video of Ethan leaning back in a chair, and he's like slurring. And he's got his like feet up on a chair. And it's like really, it's kind of spooky. He's on they're saying he's on drugs because he has tics. And they're like, no, you're being ableist. I have Tourette's. That's my Tourette's. It's like, no one thinks. I have not. No one thinks you're on drugs just because of your fucking long time Tourette's that you've had this whole time. No one thinks that's what it is.
$25,000.
But there's no way it could possibly be something that's like a
So there's Mr. Beast.
an actual criticism of you that has
Listen,
merit.
the
There's
guy
no
knows
way.
how to- you got to plug into people's primal fears.
I'm gonna find the video though.
Really push them. This wasn't going to traumatize you. Not really.
Not really.
I'm gonna find the goddamn video.
We'll see.
I've been bombed since last time.
Okay, god damn it. When is he gonna be on? This is why people think he's on drugs.
Lost all of his marbles. The marbles are gone, people. Hard hitting, man. Hard hitting calls, questioning his mental capacity.
He's like slurring.
Saved.
You like the marbles, or you?
Yeah.
You don't, I don't.
Sniffing like crazy.
I don't like the marbles.
Apparently his sniffs are a tick. His sniffling's a tick. A new tick.
Hassan Piker
Analog
has
horror.
fully gone he has full-on dementia.
What?
He has full-on late stage Parkinson's.
The irony of this man saying that. The irony of this man, full crash out, slurring his words, all fucked up, saying that Hassan Piker, who seems pretty fucking fine.
It has to be deliberate. An endorsement.
Never better, never sharper. is fucked up. It's so ironic. The irony. Like, look at this fucking man. It's a mess.
Hassan Piker has lost all of his marbles.
I mean, sure, we can look at corporations that are government
So
agencies
funny to
that are
me.
hiring people on not true, proper basis. We can even look at
Analog horror.
Do you have any evidence that that's happening?
Yeah, even the DNC's nomination of
This?
Did you get the thing I need for the video?
Is this the one that we tried to watch? Ah. I can't watch. Are you out of your fucking mind? This whole thing's like this.
Lance.
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to watch that. What the fuck?
Kamala.
I don't have that kind of.
For
Oh,
people
is
who
it
have
starting?
Oh, there he is.
We're at our ad time, so why don't we do that?
Let's thank our wonderful sponsors.
Okay, is he?
Over at Game Time.
I think he's actually
Game Time
promoting. Is it
the
gambling?
app to get tickets. Specifically, what they're great at is last-minute tickets, finding you the best deal possible. Now, let me just tell you right up front, okay?
We're not watching that fucking ad.
Handicaps,
Is Sam Seder going to be live during this? I want to watch it on Sam Seder's end because I don't want him to button something out.
Non-discriminatory stuff. That's what this.
He's gonna use the button and cut out something stupid he said. I just know it.
Even before I tell you how great the green ones.
And if it wasn't about Israel, Palestine, let's say, and about something else that.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name. Don't worry about him. He's just a guy named Bob. Bob Dork.
That's not my name.
He's not a health inspector.
Thank God.
He just wishes he was. And he doesn't talk. We're still in the middle of our medium soft practice, kinda, sorta, not really opening. Hey, where do you guys think this plant should go? Here? 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 You don't sound happy. Here? Here?
Yeah, there.
Really?
Or maybe there.
Are you kidding me? We don't care about the plant. Take us to the kitchen.
That's Sam Seder. I love it. He's the health inspector.
This chicken needs to be stored at 40 degrees or less. Oh, fun chicken fact. How do you even know that?
Oh, God.
Hold on. When was the last time you washed this rag? I'm sorry, washed? Are you saying washed the rag?
Oh, God.
There are rodent droppings near your salad prep area. Oh, that's what those are. Okay, you could just flick them away.
Oh, God.
Ew. If he hits the button once during this fucking thing,
compared to like
Anyways,
I guess to be
stage layout coming soon.
Okay.
Stage layout coming soon.
how long is this fucking ad? Jeez. Oh, jeez, Rick. What just happened? How is this ad still going?
Fees at checkout. Love that. Nice. Love the enthusiasm in the office.
Yeah.
For game time.
We're in a band. We're all in detention.
Come on, where's
Now, as an icebreaker idea for Sam, do you think he wants to hear about my watch?
No.
No one wants
sure?
to talk about your
actually that's a
fucking dumb
poor
watches, you
choice for
out of touch rich
icebreaker.
cunt. Sorry,
Why?
excuse me.
This watch is sick.
It's icy, I know. So
What do you
you
think,
would
Zach?
think you'd think it'd be good, but I think maybe connect on something a little more grounded.
Bro, this is a straight up.
Right.
What are you wearing today?
Right.
This is the 4946R, I believe.
Is he into watches at all? No.
God damn it, I hate people that are in expensive watches. What a dumb fucking
I should
hobby.
force him to listen. I should do an hour of just watch talking to him.
I mean,
Does he know about my rose gold Patek?
how about this?
Has China come out and said they're the ones actually making all the Rolexes yet? Like they are with like Birkin bags and shit? It's just a made in China watch that you paid $125,000 for?
I guess not. I guess I won't do the watch talk thing. I see you sent him a link, so we're just basically standing back and standing by.
Yeah. We have 5 minutes to 1, so if there's some more short goofs you want to...
There was a very big donation. It's in the Discord.
Oh, let's take a look. A $300 donation.
Oh my goodness.
Donating $300 to my favorite pod and show. Lunch and boba on me. Love you all. Big hugs to AB and Lena.
Oh, thank you.
They're giving money to this guy that's just talking about his $100,000 watch?
Wow.
Thank you guys so much.
That's
What a generous
crazy.
donation. Appreciate that.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool, man.
And actually, you
That's
know what?
cool.
I'm glad about the
Oh,
Lena
shit.
dropping out thing is I don't have to talk about this fucking event.
Oh, I'm sure you won't.
I will never mention it again.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Horrible.
The best thing the worst thing I can do for the event is stop talking about it, I feel like.
Shut up. Is Sam Seder not going to be live for it? That's crazy to me. I really don't want to watch it on the H3 end. If he buttons one fucking time, I swear to God. I swear to goodness. One button. You can't button out the fucking...
Continued editing software from the early
debate.
2000s. Considering this takes place back in 2005, Movie Maker being the editing software of choice is a nice touch. Said text on screen is their only source of...
Oh wait, this is just a documentary about it.
Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Gonna get me some boba. I'm grabbing a boba today.
This is freaky. It's freaking me out. Is Sam Seder there yet? God damn it. Hurry up. Hurry up, 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 Sam Seder. Hurry up, Sam Seder. Oh no, I don't want to pause. I just want to mute it. I'll keep it playing, but it'll be muted. Oh yeah, because he was live 2 hours ago. 3 hours ago.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report.
He's got Bob.
Sam Seder.
He's got Bob Burgers doing his announcement. Oh, and then the Clash. Pressure drop by the
It is Wednesday,
Clash.
April 30th, 2025. My name is Sam
He's
Seder.
so
This is the
cool.
five-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Martin O'Malley, former Social Security Commissioner under President Biden, as a former governor of Maryland.
We got more
One of the candidates who could
YouTube
have won
views than
2016.
normal.
And no, it's not my birthday, just because he's on. It is day 101, although there's, I guess, some controversy as to day 100, day 101 of Donald Trump's administration, and congratulations. GDP hits negative growth for the first time since COVID. The degrowth president. We are halfway to that Trump recession. Meanwhile, Trump backtracks on tariffs for car makers in the most convoluted way possible. Good news. Federal judge in Vermont frees most of
Oh, heck
Madawi,
yeah. Oh, I still need to get that
one
game.
of the Columbia
You don't have to
students
write anything. You
who
can,
was
like,
arrested
don't feel
because
obligated
of
to
the
chat.
pro-Palestine
You can just
protest.
chill.
He was the one who went for his citizenship.
You can just chill. You don't even have to watch. You can go
Trump
play.
falls on his face. As Kilmar
Don't starve
Abrego
together
Garcia's
if you want.
tattoos are
You can also do that. Don't No obligations here. No obligations. What are they talking
Sound like
about?
he's trolling. I mean, he's getting pretty detailed about like why he said no.
Yeah, it definitely does seem real, but he could be joking. Who the fuck?
Oh, I can't believe you guys.
I'm
How can it be that they're both trolling?
God damn, he's
I don't
fucking...
think they're both trolling.
Does he just
All right, who
hate
cares
everyone
about
that
Ice
works for
Poseidon?
him?
Sam is here. Let's talk to him.
All right, give me a moment. I will set up the Zoom call here.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Crowder ready? Stand by.
Let's go.
The biggest thing is that iDubbbz hasn't denied it. You know what I mean? I feel like it'd be an easy thing to just deny.
I feel like it's real for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, welcome
Sam
to the
motherfucking
show.
Cedar. Sam motherfucking Cedar.
Oh my God, it's Sam Cedar. What a nightmare.
Yay!
Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare.
How have you been, Sam, since we ruined Steven Crowder's life together? Nice to see you
I've
again.
been feeling very badly for him.
Yes,
over the
we're
years.
all. It's a tragic loss of a great career and so much potential.
Yes, it is. Hey, are we live now?
We are live on the H3 channel, yes.
I want to just start by sort of apologizing in that I sent you a DM on Twitter 6 months ago or something. I was just going through to find out, and then I just realized you're no longer on Twitter.
Yeah.
So that
interesting.
Explains why I didn't hear back.
He may no. Yeah, I didn't see it. I wish I would have, but honestly,
It's happening.
I don't know what to do because like I want to get off Twitter, but also it's kind of a pain because Twitter is the way that like I would reach out and speak to most people. But I also don't want to be on a platform that's like owned and perpetuates basically like Nazi shit. So
Yeah, this was yes, I understand that.
Yeah,
but I just wanted you to know I did reach out, and it was on me
wild.
not to realize that I just
I can't
assumed you
believe they're
didn't
doing
want
it. They're
to,
talking.
Respond, but
okay, well,
me.
that's nice to know that you reached out. I appreciate that. And the reason, I mean, obviously, people have been pushing for this conversation. I don't know if you know, like, the whole lore of it, the background of it.
I don't. I mean, this is all I know is that Hassan reached out to me sometime. I mean, I got in touch with you October 24th, and I said that I was meaning to reach out for a couple of weeks. So I assume it was sometime in early October, and my thought we were just going to do this off air, but my understanding is that you and he were getting into it, and you felt like because he wasn't Jewish, he didn't have a perspective on this, and that's why he suggested that you speak to me. I don't speak for all Jews, just to be clear.
Right.
I speak only for myself as a in any form.
Well,
whatsoever.
Sam, allow me to speak for all Jews, if I may, today.
Yeah, you do that all the fucking time.
No, well, actually, I mean, that's a total mischaracterization.
No, it's not. That's pretty much what it
my
was.
problem with Hassan, which we can get into if you want. We don't even have to talk
Watch,
about
he's
Hassan.
gonna lie.
But basically, what I told him was that I was citing polling data that showed that about 70% some kind of positive feelings towards the state of Israel, and he was disagreeing with me. And I mean, this is available by polls, readily available by Pew Research just last month, showing that. And I have, I don't know if you agree with that or not. I can pull it up, but 72% of diaspora Jews have some type of at least positive feelings about the state of Israel. I was stating that fact to him, and he was saying that I was wrong. And I said, "Who are you to talk about this?" I did not say that I only listen to Jewish people, which is a little bit of presumptuous and a little insane.
No, I don't think that's not what I took him to say. But yeah, I mean, Hassan is that's irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I haven't seen that poll. I've seen ones that have said that they have a connection. They feel a connection, either strong or somewhat.
Yeah.
Which is different than positive per se.
So
but regardless, I mean, I think if I don't know your upbringing at all, but I mean certainly my upbringing, my Hebrew education was, I would say, 1/3 Holocaust, and you know, I'm older, and so this was, you know, in the 70s. 1/3 into the 80s, 1/3 Holocaust, 1/3 Israel, 1/3 Hebrew, Hebrew and Jewish culture. And I certainly feel a strong connection to Israel, but I wouldn't call it positive these days.
Sure. I guess I think what the poll attempts to is basically, if you ask Hassan or a lot of people on the left, I think an emotional attachment is the way to describe this. So it's like, if you think
I certainly have an emotional attachment, and it's not, but it's not. I wouldn't describe it as positive.
This isn't the one, is it, Dan? There's the one that shows 73% of diaspora Jews. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, regardless. Basically, I want to flesh out my ideas, my thoughts, because I'm being characterized by Hassan and a lot of his cohorts as being, a Zionist, being pro-Israel, being a Israel apologist, being a genocide supporter, being a baby killer, being married to a baby killer, et cetera, right? My wife is Israeli. I don't know if you know that.
That's funny.
So basically, I would like to just take the opportunity to explain my ideas, what I think about Israel, and you can tell me what you think, because apparently I will only listen to other Jewish people. So finally, I can speak to someone whose opinion matters to me. So thank you, as the official sanctioned Jewish man, Sam Seder, everybody. 100% Ashkenazi? You ever taken one of those?
Yikes.
I haven't, but I'm quite sure I have some Sephardic.
Yeah, sorry. I know most of my normal friends don't really give a shit about the Ethan Klein drama.
That's
Vilnius and Hungary, I think.
Good for you.
I
think that's
I've been looking forward to
my friend, I'm 99.3%, so that's my that's where my authority comes from.
I'll take your word for it.
So at any rate, let me start here by showing you a little context.
Oh, let me also just say, I got about an hour.
Okay, great. Well, I'll just get into it then. Oh, here it is. Not that it matters.
Okay, let's see this disingenuous bullshit. What are you going to say? What are you going to make up there, buddy?
So let's start here. Let's start with the little icebreaker here. I know we're both fans of Tim Pool. Okay, let's just enjoy this image together. Tim Pool recently had a wedding. And
he's got his
can you see that?
Did he get married?
Well, I think he's attending a wedding.
Okay.
And he's still very formally dressed,
beanie on?
Except he appears
Tim
to be
Pool's
wearing
such
a beanie.
A fucking loser.
I'm aware of his beanie attachment.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought this was a fine look for our good friend.
Get into it, you fucking coward. Talk about your fucking shilling for the state of Israel.
Let me ask you this: what have you kind of like heard about me? Because I mean, I know that your colleagues have an opinion.
I got to be honest with you. I have not heard much. I have, like, the only thing I really saw that came up in any of my mentions on Blue Sky, I'm also on Blue Sky, is just this issue about talking to me, and I had presumed that was it. But I don't, look, from my perspective, I'm not, and I know that there's been, you mentioned in the email that there's been a lot of grief that you have taken, and I know that other people have also taken grief on all sides of this. And the personal aspects of this, and I don't believe that people. I don't actively attempt to deplatform people. I don't think people should do that. I don't think people should be swatted, or tried to be fired, or whatever, or have CPS sicked on them, or any of that. I mean, I just don't think that's appropriate. I mean,
he brought that on himself.
I'm more interested in talking about my relationship to Zionism and my perspective on what Israel is doing, and what is happening in Gaza, and.
I totally agree. Let's just talk about the facts. Let me start by showing you this clip. So I've been actually talking about my feelings on the Israel, Gaza, Palestinian dispute situation for a long time. I lived in Israel for 5 years.
Oh, is he going to bring up that fucking
here's my position
tweet
right after October 7th.
From decades
and
ago?
You can tell me if you have any if you have any comments on any of my positions here, but this was posted on, this was from our episode a few days after October 7th.
Jesus Christ. Just say what you believe now.
Liars and bad faith.
Why do you need to bring up an old video?
Okay, listen. This isn't the first time I've said it, and I'll say it many more times. The cabinet is run by genocidal maniacs. Okay. They're led by Netanyahu, who should resign in disgrace and go to prison for being a war criminal, okay? He's made a coalition of the most radically conservative freaks that don't represent, by the way, the majority of Israelis. And they're hell-bent on genocide, frankly, overtly. They've committed tons of war crimes in Gaza, including the killing of children.
What have you said since this talk? This is old, Ethan.
50% of the residents are under 18, so when you bomb a building, the chances that you're killing children is pretty much 100%. Okay? It's fucking barbaric. It's unacceptable. It's disgusting. I've seen videos, I saw videos of Palestinian dads holding his dead 5-year-old daughter. I mean, I don't need to watch this part because it just gets a little too emotional. But I mean, so that was my take right after October 7th, and obviously that was coming off the end of me being I'm an Israeli citizen. The morning of October 7th, me and my wife were up at 3 a.m. as families were calling into news stations from their safe houses, people being burned alive with their families being murdered while on the phone with news. So
why do you need to play a video from a year ago? Just say what you say now.
Shock, right? Was this was my reaction. Now, I don't know if there's something Zionist or pro-Israel I said there, but maybe I don't understand.
I mean, I might.
That was a year ago. You dumb fuck. What have you said since then?
I'm not sure, frankly, if what we've seen Israel do in terms of Gaza is not broadly supported in Israel. I'm not seeing the body politic. I mean, I was doing a lot of interviews with Israeli reporters earlier in 2023 about the protests against what Netanyahu was doing with the judiciary. And there was a question as to whether Israelis would see that this autocracy that Netanyahu was attempting to sort of impose on the country wasn't an extension of what was happening in places like the West Bank and in Gaza in some fashion, and more so the West Bank at that time. And so I think it's hard to make an argument. And look, I would make it's not a perfect analogy as to what's happening in this country, but when you talk about the Israeli population not, having a problem with what's going on in Gaza, I don't see a lot of evidence of that. There's certainly, I would imagine, a percentage of Israelis, and I know some of them who think that Israel should stop its assault there, but I don't think I don't see a lot of evidence that a year and a half later, after you said those things, that
I don't understand why he hasn't. He's playing a video from over a year ago. That's not what people were complaining about. No one was complaining about that statement you made then.
I talked to people who have reported in the West Bank, and they said they would go from the West Bank into Israel, and the lack of awareness of what was happening in the West Bank by Israelis was shocking to them. So, I can't say if the Israeli population had a full understanding of what was happening in Gaza, that they wouldn't change their mind. But I don't see a lot of evidence of it.
So, as you touched on, this was made basically before the war started. And I think that the unfortunate, really tragic outcome of the war is how much it's jaded and radicalized, I think, people in Israel. It's really, I think people in Israel feel like isolated. They feel like
because they're taught to feel isolated.
I mean, the sentiment in Israel is basically that the world wants the country to disappear, and obviously like that's a much more nuanced conversation. But the feeling there has definitely radicalized a lot since the war started. It's gotten a lot worse.
And I think
I
think that gets to it to some extent. I mean, you have this wholesale slaughter. I was looking up. We killed in Iraq. Depending on what numbers you want to look at, but I think it's safe to say directly hundreds of thousands of people. But even like the number of children that we killed in Iraq, I think has been surpassed by what's happened in Gaza. And I think one of the things that I find shocking is that the sense and look, I experienced this with family members, where the sense that there's a victimization, for instance, let's say on college campus of Jewish students, and I think that to look at what's going on, the totality of what's going on, and to perceive the victims of what's happening here to be the Israeli citizenry or Jews in this country, I think it just blows my mind. I mean,
two people can care about two things at once. Why should people?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People who are uninvolved in the war, if they're being victimized in a separate situation because of their Jewish identity, that's a problem, don't you think?
Oh, I do, but
you can care about two things. You can't be like, oh, these people are ridiculous for caring about anti-Semitism on college campuses because the war's
It's not
happening.
anti-Semitism.
We can care about two things.
100%.
And obviously one is way worse, right? One is way worse.
But that's the point. I mean, one is way worse. And what's happening in Gaza,
who should tolerate being discriminated against based on their identity? You know what I mean? Like, of course, who wouldn't react to that?
I don't think that people are. I don't think that people are being victimized. I mean, certainly, listen, anti-Semitism is real. It was real when I was a kid. There was many times I had pennies thrown at me growing up and playing basketball. I mean, there was a lot of. I've experienced anti-Semitism, but put it in the context of like you're a parent, I'm a parent. If my kid is going through something very difficult, it's obviously difficult for me, but it's more difficult for them. And it's a question of prioritizing these things. You can have two thoughts in your head at the same time, but to center oneself or to perceive that one's victimization is sufficient to ignore the
I got to stop you because I don't think I don't know who's doing that.
Well, I mean, I just said like you just presented as the Israeli population feels like they're isolated and this and that.
There's two different separate conversations. There's like the American Jewry who's like, I have nothing to do with that place, and then the Israelis, right? So like when you're talking about
in terms of the way that you characterize the Israeli feeling, was that they feel isolated, et cetera, and I can understand that, but to not have the first thought of like, we are committing, like you say, genocidal acts. And if people want to call it genocide, I don't, obviously it's got to be, it's a legal term, but I think that it's colloquially speaking, at the very least, it is a genocide. And to not recognize that as the fundamental issue, the first issue, I think is blinkered. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's a little gobsmacking to me.
Well, so I do agree with you that obviously in Israel, people, I I think the problem, and just to say on a higher level, I agree with you. Like, obviously, the people in Israel compared to like what's on October 7th, they were victims. After everything that's happened, obviously, whatever they've suffered pales in comparison to the mass destruction and like wanton death of civilians in Gaza, and what's happening in the West Bank too. Lots of awful stuff. That being said, I think the problem with Israel, just to try to explain what's happening there, because I do agree with you, is just like the media apparatus and the feeling that they have there. It's like there's not a lot of space emotionally, and like even the information that they're consuming, I think that would allow them to have that kind of like self-realization. And like you said, a lot of Israelis don't know what's happening
There are
necessarily.
some. I mean,
There are some, yeah, of course there's some.
You know, what was it in the fall? You had the publisher of Haaretz, you know, speaking out about what was going on there, and the paper was essentially, you know, a cutout, or there was an attempt by the government to basically shut them down on to some extent. I mean, so.
Well, so what's your
yes,
explanation why Israelis don't care? It's not that they're evil, right?
Well, I think, look, there's, I'm sure that there is a mass, you know, sort of like a failure to deal with trauma. I think, but I think some of it is, frankly, is racism. And I think, you know, how can you explain, you know, how can I explain how I just watched a clip of people at a Trump rally chanting USA, USA, to watching a video of people being, you know, taken into that prison in El Salvador and having their heads I mean, I don't know how I can explain that. So I don't know how I could explain how the Israelis are able to the extent that they can see what's going on in Gaza, have that reaction. But I know that it's wrong. And I think, you know, some of it undoubtedly is a racism. Some of it is, you know, maybe some type of mass failure to deal with trauma. I mean, I don't know all those things. I think, you know, part of it, I think there's
talk about
some of the makeup
Ethan
of,
just
you know,
disingenuinely introduced his stance
to Israel
and what he's been doing for the past year.
Several decades. I'm sure all of that enters into it, and I'm not in a position to sort of like be able to psychoanalyze it beyond the sort of, you know, vague notions.
Sure.
But
yeah, and I
from
agree.
my perspective, it's gobsmacking, and you know, to me, it has shown, and you know, I never identified myself as a Zionist as a kid, or you know, through the years, and I never identified myself as an anti-Zionist. I don't think I. You know, I think those, it wasn't really until someone heard me articulate my perspective on this that they referred to me as anti-Zionist, and I have, you know, I don't really care that one way or another how I'm labeled, but to me, it shows a failure of that system of government that Israel has, and
Zionism.
It has failed both from a perspective of, you know, what I think some people had as a notion of Zionism in the 19th century. It has been a failure in terms of keeping Jews safe, frankly. It seems to have been a massive failure. And so I can't operate as someone who lives in Israel, but I can operate as someone who is an American in terms of like what we support, which is why I think we should end all aid. And as a Jew who sees my religion being used as what I perceive as a fig leaf for what Israelis or, you know, Zionists are doing. And so, I mean, that's where I'm coming from with this, that I don't know if there is a psychological state that can justify this. In fact, I don't think there is. And so, you know,
it's just an attempt to understand, not justify. Because I mean, it is what it is, right? Like it is the way that it is, and so that's for a reason. And it's just
the way that it is.
It's just trying to explain it. That's all. I agree with everything you're saying. But actually, one thing I want to pivot to and ask you about.
Do you think that we should cut all aid to Israel?
I think that'd be justifiable, yeah.
And
we're talking about like military and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Israel.
I mean,
Israel can make their own bombs and shit.
Every.
So they still get to make bombs and bomb the shit out of children.
I agree with you on that.
I think they do need it to do what they're doing, without a doubt. And
well, what I mean is they're not entitled to it, to say more accurately. Yeah. So yeah, I think military.
But you still want them to continue their military campaign against a bunch of children.
And you know,
you want them to continue the genocide just with their own
different
bombs.
Connection to Israel than I do, as through your family and whatnot, and through having lived there. But as a Jew, I take such offense to what is being done ostensibly to protect me and my family and my ancestors and my progeny and all of it. I think it's I think the conflation of Zionism and Judaism is both not keeping Jews safe and is wrong at its core.
And it's blatantly anti-Semitic.
What it's even doing in the context of this country, the way that it's enabled Trump to attack universities and to attack law firms and whatever. And so I don't know. And if you agree with that, great. If not, I'm happy to discuss it with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. And part of the reason why, like, this chasm started between me and, Hassan is very influential. So when he decides that somebody is an enemy of the movement for criticizing him, which is what I perceive happened, then it kind of becomes reality. For example, one of my criticisms of his is him not supporting Kamala Harris. Now, would she have stopped the war and been like a perfect dove? I don't know, but I know she would have been better than Trump. I know that for sure. Trump's posting like this insane Riviera, Gaza, the Riviera with Trump hotels. I mean, that's and like he's sending the 20-pound bombs. He's telling Netanyahu, you have a blank check to do whatever you want. Now, like, Kamala
literally, it just came out that they were doing nothing to stop the ceasefire.
I mean, listen, I think.
Well, I'm talking about Kamala.
I suspect that I suspect that she would not have had the same policies as Trump. But at the same time, I think that it was a massive failure, both on a real human level. Like, it would have, I think, had she articulated anything even remotely close to what I would hope her difference would have been, I think it would have probably had implications in the election. But I think perhaps even more importantly, it would have maybe implicated the behavior of Israel. So, I mean, look, I chose to support Harris because I perceived her as the lesser of two evils. But
yeah, me too. And I think that that's an important distinction to make at a time like this. Yeah,
I can certainly understand how some people were just so repulsed by what was happening that it made it almost impossible for them to vote for Harris. I think,
I understand why they didn't. I totally understand the perspective. Like, I'm so disillusioned with this administration, I can't support Kamala. But at the same time, like, a hugely influential political streamer like Hassan, who has a huge influence on people, I think, and who's someone who was who's very vocal about being pro-Palestine. I feel like it's an abdication of responsibility to be like, I'm not voting for Kamala, or I'm not telling you who I voted for. I suspect he voted for Jill Stein personally. But either way, he hasn't said it, and he wouldn't
over and
endorse
over
her.
again.
Now, like, if you're just like a random protester or whatever, and like you're like, I'm so disgusted, I don't want to vote. That's fine. But if you're like a high-level political streamer,
this is a big one.
And
Biden officials admit they never pressured Israel for a ceasefire, as Israel leaders boast of playing
it's an abdication
Washington.
of responsibility to not make that call.
I mean, I certainly have been critical of people who,
generally don't vote for the lesser of two evils, but I think, and certainly, in the run up to the 2016 election, I certainly, that was my perspective. But again, what the Biden administration was doing was so horrific that her inability to signal that there would be any change, I think sometimes you have to take this at face value. And I think there would be certainly, definitely other things. You would not be assaulting the government like Trump is. But, I think probably this is the first election in as long as I've been doing this, and I think it's been 5 elections now. I mean, I'm old, that I couldn't really condemn someone from taking that position. Based upon what we were seeing. I mean, it's not just some random person. I do, and I'll tell you why. Kamala Harris wanted a ceasefire. She stated that. Trump said, finish them. I mean, let's be honest. Like, for someone Biden
like Hassan,
said, I want a ceasefire.
I'm not voting for Biden. I'm not talking about Biden.
No, I understand, but we found out that Biden, in fact, did nothing to bring that about. So.
Well, you can talk about Biden. I'm talking about Kamala Harris.
Yeah, but she said, I stand full-heartedly with
I mean, at the end
Biden.
of the day, she
I'm
doesn't
100%
really do that much,
on Joe
right?
Biden's plans
but I'm
with
talking
that.
about the candidate. Biden, as a president, said he wanted a ceasefire. She, as a candidate, said, I want a ceasefire.
Well, do you not? Even if you're like, I don't know how much I trust them. One's like, I want a ceasefire, and the other one is like, finish them.
Well, listen, I think it was certainly obvious to me that Trump was going to be worse. But I think, like, if you're trying to get the candidate to
write down the name
show
of
some indication of this,
a politician,
I can understand. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I would disagree with it. But
I get your point. Like, ultimately, I understand why people
genocide of a country. How the fuck could you do that? I could never do that. There's no way I could ever do that.
It feels like
it also shows a tremendous amount of just like electoral malfeasance on her part. I mean, they made an active choice, and I think you could have put that Palestinian lawmaker from Georgia on stage. They made an active choice to signal to whomever they were signaling that they weren't going to do anything. Now, I happen to believe that she would have been better on this than Trump. But they were making an active choice to do that. I mean, it was really electoral malfeasance on her part, in my opinion. But
it lost her the fucking election.
I don't know what the point of litigating this is per se. But
well, we're talking about kind of my criticisms of Hassan and how this.
I don't.
Well, let me show you this. I know.
This is just.
I know. Honestly, I'm like
Let me show you this. This is more.
He's just. That's it.
Honestly,
That's all he cares about.
I know.
Hassan bad.
And why should you?
Bad.
I don't blame you. We talked about anti-Semitism, and you think that I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But you seem to have conveyed that, compared to the destruction and everything happening, the genocide, the loss of life in Gaza, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, that obviously that's way more important. So let me show you an example of something. And again, I know you don't care about the drama. To me, this isn't drama. This is one of the biggest, most influential streamers spreading something that I think is really dangerous. And you can agree or disagree, but it's a short clip, but I'll show it to you. And you tell me what you think.
What is he going to say?
This will never happen, but in a totally just world, any kind of, regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi.
Why not?
And
that seems perfectly reasonable. You
shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher, as Felix was posting, if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this.
Now, by the way, he didn't misspeak. He doubled down on it yesterday. He said, no, I agree. That's what I think. Now, just to recap, he says, anyone that's had positive feelings at any point about the state of Israel is a neo-Nazi that's not fit to be a dog walker. Now, to me, that seems like extremely dangerous, dehumanizing language about what could arguably be 70% of the Jewish diaspora.
Should not be
and
treated well.
People you know in your family.
You support the genocide?
I'll
Fuck
tell you. There's some hyperbole there, but
That's putting it mildly.
I mean, he says Zionism, and I'll tell you what I think is really.
Sorry, I got to correct you. He says Zionism, and then he says if you had positive feelings about the state of Israel at any point in your life.
I got to tell you, if you look at what's happening right now, and you have positive feelings about Israel,
He said at any point in your life, Sam. Just to be clear about what he said.
Listen to him.
Said at any point in his life, someone's life, but I just think this is such a petty, like the idea that we're going to police. Hold on, let me respond. You want me to respond this?
No,
I don't. Like I say, I don't care about this, but if you're going to force me to respond to it, what Israel is doing right now is so far beyond the idea that someone says any time in your life or not or whatnot. He's talking about Zionism, and frankly, I think it's very difficult for me to understand how someone could have positive feelings at this time. Now, you want to say in the past and what? Okay.
At any time, though.
Like I say, I will.
This has been happening for fucking 75 fucking years.
That is a too broad a statement. Wait, let me finish.
Maybe not to this extent and this speed.
You go in and you're making this about anti-Semitism by doing this hopscotch about a poll that people had positive feelings that Jewish people do, and then therefore he is anti-Semitic. And honestly, that type of conflation, I think, is so dangerous and so disingenuous. I mean, this is, I don't want to get too passionate about this, but I'll tell you something. Sam, who went to my bar mitzvah, my sister's bar mitzvah, my kid's bar mitzvah, sat at Passover with me 3 or 4 times, call my father and ask him if I'm anti-Semitic. Now, this is just one, that is just an example, an illustration of conflating when he's clearly talking about Zionism. Was it hyperbole to say any time in the life, whatever? The fact of the matter is this conflation is dangerous for Jews. It is a fig leaf and a way of weaponizing anti-Semitism that has enabled Donald Trump to do the shit he's doing, that has enabled the slaughter of thousands upon thousands of children and women and men, for that matter. It is not keeping Israelis safe. And this type of conflation, Ethan, is what I find far more irresponsible, frankly, than the idea that he said positive any time. I mean, look, you do a show Sam, 4 hours a day. He does a show 5 or, as far as I can tell, 15 hours a day. And to focus in on that one tiny clause.
This is not one tiny clip, Sam.
Well,
you don't know. This is a totality of behavior.
But you.
What about your behavior?
And I appreciate that you can hand wave it away and say that it doesn't.
No, I'm not hand waving it away.
Well, you kind of are.
I'm saying this
You're saying it doesn't. You're saying actually I'm.
Listen to him, Ethan. Shut the fuck up.
No, yes. In fact, I'm saying this conflation is incredibly dangerous. It is disingenuous.
I think it's dangerous to ignore what's being described as dehumanizing violent language for American Jews that have nothing to do with the war.
That is a complete mischaracterization of that.
It's not.
He's
not fit to be a dog walker.
He never says the word Jews.
He says a neo.
Listen, how many members of Kufi have positive feelings towards Israel? Wait. How many millions of members of Kufi, the Christian organization, have positive feelings for Jews? It is clearly not a function of their Judaism. It is not a function of their Judaism, and so it is not specifically.
But it describes most Jews.
No.
Yes, it does, Sam.
It describes most Christian evangelicals, too.
It may do them, too, but it also describes 73% of Jews.
So that is not anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
That is about
I don't know. What do you call it when somebody's discriminating against the vast majority of a racial or religious group, Sam?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You want to look at evangelical Jews?
I don't care about evangelical people.
Okay, but I'm talking about the way you're constructing this.
I think
you can say the same thing about Christian evangelicals, too. It is not anti-Semitism. It is not. It just isn't.
Like, taking one example in isolation, which is what we've done here.
Well, so the thing you gave it to me. Yeah, well, I don't even want to talk about it.
I disagree with you.
I'm using your example, and in that instance, that is not anti-Semitism.
Well, I disagree.
Conflation. Okay, well, that's our disagreement.
Yeah.
But I think that conflation is incredibly dangerous.
Well, I disagree as well.
Jews,
I think
it's dangerous for this society.
I think, frankly, I think it's dangerous to what I perceive as hand waving what is happening here. I know you said you aren't doing that.
He's not hand waving. He's full on disagreeing with what you're saying.
Decades of thought about.
He probably agrees with Hassan.
Sure.
He's not
But
hand
the point
waving. He's
is you're saying
co-signing
that this is not dangerous. How dare you care about this? I think it's dangerous
No,
to
I'm not saying that at all.
I personally, I mean,
I'm
Jewish
saying
people
the
have a collective
mischaracterization
memory of
of it
trauma,
as
Sam, and it
anti-Semitism.
starts a certain way, and it starts with people. It starts with dehumanizing language, like saying you're not fit to walk a dog. I mean, what are we doing here?
He's not talking about
it's
Jews.
irresponsible language.
He's not talking about
He's
Jews.
talking about 73% of Jewish people.
No, you said that.
No, that's a poll that's readily available.
No, you made that connection. He did not. Because we have millions upon millions of members of country. We have millions upon millions in this country of evangelicals who also believe the same thing.
Does your dad have?
You cannot say it's
could you
anti-Semitism.
Could you
You
describe
cannot say it's anti-Semitism.
This is making me
if
feel
you're
a little
also
better.
including millions upon millions, far more Christians than Jews.
Would you say that your father, who you mentioned, said something to you, that he's ever in his life had positive feelings about the state of Israel?
I've had positive feelings of Israel.
Well, does your dad have any positive feelings about it now?
I would assume so.
Not in terms of like I support them, but
I've
like
had
I think
positive
Israel.
feelings. I went to Israel on.
Okay, good. Then you're a neo-Nazi,
my
not fit to walk a
confirmation.
dog. How do you feel about that?
No, that's you saying that. That
That's
is not
literally what he said. I'll play it again.
I think like
I love him
this will
so
never
much.
happen, but in a totally just world, any kind of regardless of your background, any kind of fucking Zionist tendency should be treated in the same way as being a fucking rabid neo-Nazi.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't even let someone be the fucking local dog catcher as Felix was posting if they've ever exhibited any sort of like positive feelings about the state of Israel. I'm so serious about this.
Another thing he's doing, by the way, and Hassan does it.
Listen,
he
you
plays
can say
around with
that's
the
a wrong
term
thing to do.
Zionist, right?
You can say that's a wrong thing to say, but he's not talking about Jews.
Yeah.
He's talking about people who have exhibited these positive feelings, and that includes millions upon millions of Christians.
Yeah.
More Christians.
Okay, well, listen,
than
I don't think
Jews
they're
exist in the
neo-Nazis.
God damn,
They're
he's
not
getting
fit to walk
cooked.
dogs, either. I think it's insane language.
Listen, you don't want to tell me that you have never engaged in hyperbole. You and I both are in this business, and we do that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just think that.
It's listen. You can say
I
it's
just
an
think that,
inappropriate thing to say. It's an unfair thing to say.
I just think like
but
Arabs
it's
that
not
support Israel aren't
anti-Semitism.
fit to walk a dog.
It is not anti-Semitism.
Okay, well, we're
And
at
you
an
can say
impasse
that
on
it's-
this one.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, but anyway, another thing he does is he says Zionist tendencies, and he's someone that plays around with Zionism. He calls me a Zionist, and again, I know we're arguing here about semantics of what Hassan said, but I don't think that you could accurately characterize me as that, as it's used colloquially. You don't know, right? But he's saying Zionist tendencies. What does that mean? What's a Zionist tendency?
I don't know.
You can ask him on Friday.
You're going to talk to him on Friday. You can ask him what a Zionist tendency is. I suppose I would guess, and like I've looked at polls too, where people have various different understandings of what Zionism is, but I think it is my guess, and I don't know what he was thinking specifically, but the notion of an ethno-state that engages and it allows whatever in the name of Zionism allows for this mass slaughter, I think is horrific.
Sure, me too.
Damn, cooked.
Okay. I mean, then I think we the three of us agree on that regard.
Yeah, I think we're so. Another thing is like to take it even further. I mean, Hassan pretty much like openly supports Hamas.
Let's not talk about Hassan. Let's talk about this.
Sure. I mean, what do you want to ask me?
Well, I mean, if you want to ask me about, I mean,
well, let me.
I'm not here to explore.
Yeah. I have a list of things that.
But if you want to talk about Hamas, I mean, I think. Look.
Well, how do you feel about Hamas?
I mean, I feel that organization. We call them terrorists in this country. We call the ANC
terrorists. What do you think about
terrorists.
them, Sam?
Listen, I think there are parts, I would imagine, of Hamas that have done good for the people in Gaza, and I think they have done bad things. But I sort of feel, I guess, ultimately probably like Ehud Barak when he said that were I Palestinian and I was living in Gaza, that it would be likely that I would join Hamas. I mean, that's what Ehud Barak said on multiple occasions. And I think that is very, that is an understanding of human nature.
They're not affording Israelis, by the way, just to point out an inconsistency there.
How so?
Well, you're like, I refuse to understand human nature and their reaction. It's just evil, and I don't know how to explain it.
I didn't use the word evil.
Right. I'm inferring because I asked you if you think they're evil. And you
Wait, you're going to be like, oh, you should say the same thing. You should join the IDF and do a genocide.
What Gazans felt on, October 8th, but toward Hamas. But I can tell you that, we have there is a long history of terrorist organizations or so-called terrorist organizations like the ANC or the IRA, even the PLO,
now, Sam,
that ultimately become political organizations.
I think the comparison to Hamas to what happened in South Africa is insanely disingenuous. And I personally hate when people do that.
I mean, Mandela didn't think so.
Well, Mandela did think so. He explicitly stated that he avoided committing violence on the citizenry because it would make reunification impossible. That's something he said.
I think you could say that tactically speaking, listen,
by the way, Sam, in the totality of their campaign, I think under 200 civilians died. And the people who did kill civilians were almost all held accountable for what they did. That's a difference, Sam.
No.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that
a significant difference.
Well, it is a significant difference. I mean,
he literally just said, "Do you condemn Hamas?"
Who committed atrocities on October 7th are dead now. And
the Hannibal Directive. A lot of them were killed directly by Israel themselves.
Well, that's
Hannibal Directive. Look up the Hannibal Directive.
But,
I mean, being held accountable by the party that they're presumably doing the violence on behalf. Like,
I'll be right back.
The entire ANC was held accountable?
No, it's saying Nelson Mandela's party, if someone killed a civilian, they would hold them accountable. They would charge them. They would disavow their actions.
The ANC did?
Yes.
Well, the IRA was bombing places in England and throughout Ireland. I mean, we have even the Irgun or the Stern Gang when they killed, over 100 villagers in 1948. I mean, the history is full of examples of organizations that commit terrorist acts. Now, I will tell you,
people look at South Africa.
I do not condone the killing of civilians, which is why obviously I'm upset about what Israel is doing.
Sure. The part that I don't like about people say, I feel like people sweep for Hamas by saying, like, what do you expect, right? But the truth is that people use South Africa as an example, but what South Africa shows is that you don't need to commit a violent war against civilians to liberate yourself.
Well, I mean, listen, we had for a year, we had the Great March of Return, where, Sinwar himself was involved in that. There was Palestinians marching on a regular basis over the course of the year. I don't know how many it was, 50 or whatever, that were innocent people who went there, and snipers are shooting down unarmed civilians. And so, time and time again, and over the course of the 20 years that I've been professionally, covering this, my attitude towards Israel's willingness to have peace has changed, and my understanding of it has changed. And I can only imagine how more intense that feeling is to be living in a place that is, functionally like, the Warsaw Ghetto, insofar as you don't have access to resources, you have 50% unemployment, the apartheid that is taking place in terms of the West Bank. I mean,
I agree with those characterizations, by the way, Sam. Just to say.
I would, okay, but I can't imagine that my response wouldn't be to pick up a weapon.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
It's not really working out.
Well, none of it's working out, is it?
No, not much at all. Not really much at all. What is called
the greatest attack on Israelis in 75 years. The notion of Zionism and the way that Israel is organized as a society is not protecting Jews. Well, it's not protecting Israelis. It's not protecting Jews worldwide. It is, there may have been a time where Zionism had and there were certainly proponents of Zionism in the early 20th century, in the late, perhaps late 19th century, where there was a notion of a multi-ethnic democracy that fell by the wayside. Folks like Hannah Arendt and Einstein, left the Zionist Congress, and what it has evolved into is, I think, a nightmare for everyone involved. And so, I don't know how I would react in that type of immiseration, frankly.
Well, can I ask you?
But again, Ehud Barak said that he would pick up a weapon were he one of them, and
that's fine.
He's far closer to the conflict than I am.
I'm not saying I don't understand why people pick up weapons, right? So let me ask you this: what do you think about October 7th attack?
What do I think about it?
Yeah,
I mean, it was horrific.
Mm-hmm. And this was like a military action by Hamas to what end?
I mean, I suspect. I mean, I don't know what the strategy was. I mean, they attacked 2 military bases. I don't know if they were aware of that the dance.
The Nova rave.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew that rave was happening. I suspect it was to derail the Abraham Accords, which were going to leave the Palestinians out of the equation, where an authoritarian
you leave out that they
state.
attacked Kibbutzim, by the way.
No, yes, of course they did. But I'm saying that they. I don't know what the strategy was on their part.
So what do you think? Like, would you expect the response of Israel would be to that?
I had no doubt on that day that Israel was going to respond.
Go insane. I mean, yeah, right. It was going to be horrific. We all knew.
Yes, but I think I think the lack of proportionality was just beyond, frankly, and I was aware that this was going to be a horror show, but I don't think I had the level of awareness of
what do you mean to what end?
Go in and literally
they wanted to capture hostages so they could end the apartheid.
90%
they have no options
of the structures.
They've tried so many things.
Bomb hospitals.
The peaceful march of return. They just mowed. Israel just killed hundreds of Palestinians. It was peaceful protest.
Food as
there's no other options other than violent resistance.
I'm more interested in the justification for what they're doing.
Probably
there.
Took hostages with the idea that they would be able to negotiate.
I understand why they took hostages. I don't understand why they took children and elderly.
I believe that they probably. I mean,
they gave a lot of the children back right away, didn't they?
They would be able to trade them as a way to inhibit Israel's doing what they're doing, and I don't know if they could have even imagined that. I'm not going I'm not going to endorse Hamas's strategy here.
Well, I'm just trying to flesh it out here because this is what I'm getting to is Hamas. I think they knew that this was the reaction that would happen.
So you're just guessing too.
I can't imagine that they assumed that there would be this level of destruction.
I mean, that's why they hate Israel. I don't think they underestimate how violent the IDF can be. You know what I mean? That's why they attacked.
I certainly underestimated that they would go this far. Use
I didn't think they'd go this far, but
bomb hospitals and shoot EMTs and have rules of engagement like this. I mean, and you know, I think Hamas is certainly up to criticism for their strategy here.
I think that's an understatement.
Well, I mean, if that's the
well, I mean, they're a terrorist organization that intentionally antagonized like the IDF to come mass slaughter their civilians.
Thank you.
I think that they
appreciate that.
overestimated whether Israel cared about the hostages, without a doubt. I mean, there's you know,
maybe I'll turn one into an emoji or whatever.
Who would make a case that this is what was their plan. Have Israel respond in this way? That's absurd.
Well, and the same is true of, like, I guess Israelis feel the same way. Like, it was totally unprecedented. You know what happened. So maybe they
before
didn't
October
think that their
7th,
mission
it
would be
was
as
the deadliest year on record for Palestinian children.
I have no doubt that they did not think that they would
in the hands of Israel.
They would have been able to overrun that. I mean, I think, you know, we were told that the technology of Israel's fence, et cetera, was you know, perfect and something we should emulate in this country. I mean, Trump was all talking about that. So I have no doubt that Hamas underestimated.
Overestimated.
You know,
or overestimated the IDF. Yeah, I got you.
What they would be able to, you know, what kind of destruction they would wreak.
put it into Photoshop and kind of modify it a little bit.
The violence that Israel would perpetrate on Gaza. I don't know that anyone could have imagined that Israel would have engaged in this level of destruction and immiseration and bombing churches and bombing hospitals and blowing up universities and destroying the infrastructure. I mean, it's almost beyond belief.
So one thing that when I was talking to Hassan, and I'm just going to talk about his point. This is about him personally.
Stop talking about fucking Hassan, bro. This is so telling how you feel about this whole fucking thing.
By the way, just you know, there's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza.
There's not one public bomb shelter in Gaza.
Okay. They're not allowed to
think
fucking.
That's interesting.
They're not allowed to get concrete in other goddamn place.
Do I think it's fucked up?
I think it's fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand the point. Like,
well, I mean, do
you think anything would be standing anymore?
Yeah.
Well, bomb shelters are underground. I mean, they would definitely be a lot safer.
I've seen what happened to tunnels under hospitals.
Your statement is, so you say there were tunnels under hospitals.
Jesus Christ! Have you seen Gaza?
Under the
a bunker wouldn't protect shit.
The first one that they went into, they built it when they were occupying Gaza.
Are you right? That's true of that one. But I mean, they have a vast tunnel network, obviously, as everybody knows.
The tunnels,
but I don't care. I don't want to get into weeds on this. The $1 million question is like, what can we do? Now, it's obviously insanely difficult to say.
I think we can stop aid immediately. I mean, obviously, it's not going to happen under Trump.
I'm in favor of that, by the way.
Okay. I mean, good.
I mean, I think
we should call for all aid to be ceased, and I think we should stop protecting them in the UN.
What should have Israel done on October 8th, I guess? Like, what would have been an appropriate response?
Definitely not fucking genociding a goddamn
without saying not this
country.
What should they
what do you even refer to Gaza as?
On October 8th? I mean, I think that there is they're hitting strategic sites to attempt to take out leadership. They should have, but let's talk. You know, like
the leadership was underground.
Yeah, to look at that, that moment in history, like maybe it was.
I disagree because they had to do something.
Maybe in that moment, they had to go in and bomb or whatever they do. I think that any action that they would have taken at that point, frankly, was a function of literally decades of oppressing people and attempting to bring this to an eventuality.
Right.
I mean, this was.
And so, what should they have done?
Definitely not just carpet bomb a goddamn region and kill a bunch of civilians.
Okay, I think what
targeted military strikes, maybe.
Empowering Palestinians in the West Bank. They should have done.
This is my favorite answer, Sam. You're saying that This is what Hassan told me. They should disband their government and lift the borders in response to the worst terrorist attack that's ever happened.
I think honestly, when you see that your policies have failed, but I don't think this
You
was
actually
their
don't believe
agenda.
that that's a real thing, though. I'm interested in having like a real conversation. You can't like live in a fairy tale land where, in response to the worst military or terrorist attack of all time, Israel, who's already, as you state, like genocidal and racist and all these terrible things, is going to lift their borders and disband their government.
Well, wait a second. You're asking me what they should have done.
Yeah.
That's different
No, in a
from what I
realistic way, not in a
expect them to
fairy
do.
tale, Sam.
Well, listen, there is no
What the
realistic
fuck?
thing. Their agenda
You don't want a
has
genuine
been-
answer to the
it has been
goddamn
quite
question
clear.
then.
Their agenda has been, since Ariel Sharon walked on the Temple Mount and tried to scuttle peace talks, the agenda since the assassination of Rabin by arch Zionists in Israel, the agenda has been to bring about this moment. There is no doubt about it. The annihilation of the Palestinian people has been an agenda in Israel for far too long. So from the perspective, it's anything I say is fantastical relative to what they would actually do. Anything.
There's nothing they could have done that because of the situation, everything.
What do you think they should do, Ethan? What do you think they should have done?
There was no
He just
plan
supports
that on
what they
this
did.
day they were going to do this. But if you go back 10 or 15 years ago and look into Bibi Netanyahu's brain, the idea that this is ultimately going to happen was definitely the agenda.
What, in terms of like
Finding
attacking
way-
Gaza or inciting an
Find a
attack?
way. I would imagine both, frankly. But to find a way
kind of-
to eliminate the Palestinians, this has been the agenda.
That's the Zionist agenda. That's why people don't like Zionism.
At one time, what I think was a smaller segment of the Israeli, body politic, and I think has increasingly become an even larger portion of the Israeli politic. So, I mean, anything I say in terms of should is fantastical. Anything.
Oh my God, the
So-
chat's
Yeah,
actually.
okay. I mean, so this is like the
on
I
Ethan's
understand where you're
side.
coming
That's
from, right? Like,
There was an
crazy.
opportunity for a ceasefire that was called in November, in December. They could have held a ceasefire at any point, and the amount of killing would have been far less. They could have done that. They could have ended it after a
I mean,
week.
Hamas could have ended the war anytime too.
How?
How could have Hamas ended the
By
war?
leaving,
What
by
the
releasing the
fuck?
hostages.
No, listen.
Are you out of your fucking
Israel
mind?
has said time and time again that the release of the hostages is not going to end their assault on Gaza. They have said this over
I don't believe
and
that's
over and over.
I haven't
They
seen
have
those
said-
statements. I've seen the opposite. I
Oh my
believe
God,
that-
he just
that if
ignores
the-
real
You
life.
really haven't seen those statements?
No, I haven't. I'll review them. I mean, is it?
I
It
think
depends
you
when.
should.
It depends when they were made too, right? Like, is
They
it,
could have
what's it in
tried-
response
no,
to?
at any time. At any time, they could have done that.
Well, what has Hamas done to end the war?
Hamas offered
What have
the
they done to end
hostages
the war?
early dawn to say Hamas offered all the hostages in agreement for in response to Israel not coming into Gaza. I mean, there's just to defend
not true.
Israel's actions.
over and over
as
again.
being inevitable.
Over and over
When
again.
do you think they should have ended it?
They've
When do you think
constantly
they should
been
have
saying
ended it?
we will
So
give up
when
all the
should it- who
hostages
have
for a
ended what?
ceasefire.
You've asked me the question, what should have Israel
And
done?
Israel
You tell me
keeps
what they should have
denying
done.
it.
Do you think what they've
They
done
say
is
no.
right?
Well, what do you? I've clearly stated no, Sam.
Okay, so tell me what they should have done.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, hindsight is a beautiful thing, but in my opinion,
it's on
like you said,
Discord?
I think some more specific strikes. I think more moving slowly because, as you kind of pointed out, but didn't really
So
acknowledge
yeah.
When do you
that.
think they should have
Do
ended?
you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So the leadership
So the
is
same
obviously
thing, just
underground.
slower.
So it's going to take. It's going to be a long mission of trying to get them. It's going to be a difficult mission. But I think militarily,
what?
they
That's so
probably
rad.
have some obligation to their citizenry, at the very least, to
What a
like
weird
take
sketch. I
out.
wanna see the weird one.
But we're not. We're ignoring the fact that
Oh,
missiles
me
are
in the
being shot
suit.
into Israel.
I forgot I
nonstop.
was
And I know
wearing
you're
that.
going to say, Iron Dome
That's so
stops
cool,
most
thank
of
you.
them, which is true. But at the same time, I mean, a
So
country
cool.
needs to respond to that. They can't just allow missiles
be
to be
clear
shot
to me.
in.
Tell me the non-fantastical version of what they should have done. Should it have been 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How many Hamas leaders, how many members of Hamas should they have killed before they leave? Because we know that Blinken said on his way out that virtually every Hamas member of Hamas that they've killed has probably been replaced by someone who's lost a family member or an entire family or whatnot. So you tell me, Ethan, if you're the one with the sensical perspective on this, and mine is fantastical, what should they have done that would have been appropriate in your mind?
Yeah. So besides like special operations and stuff, I think it would have been a good idea to, I think there's a space where they could like try to find peace partners in Gaza before just destroying the whole thing. Like obviously they approached it completely wrong, right? But there are ways I think that could have happened that are realistic, like trying to forge some kind of peace partner, some kind of alliance, some kind of international
All those
coalition.
people were marching. They were marching. They were marching in the Great March of Return, week after week after week.
Sam, was there Hamas activity at the Great March?
Sinwar was marching. Sinwar was marching with them.
Were people attacking the border wall?
During the Great March of Return, the first dozens of these things before
I was talking about this already.
The snipers, no, they weren't. So there were the people for peace.
There was Hamas activity. They were attacking the fence. They were like trying to cross the border.
You really think they want peace?
Militants were trying to cross the border.
Lead negotiator got
You're
killed by
telling me that in the
Israel.
first
Israel killed the guy, the peace talk guy.
Of these
Killed
marches,
him.
there were people
Do they think they
attacking
wanted
the
peace
fence?
talks? No.
Correct.
They killed the fucking guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I think that there's a way for Israel to try.
I'm sure it's
I think
really
they
good.
can obviously pursue peace.
The rest are
way
so
that
good.
they're doing it is impossible, right? Like it's fucked up, it's insane, it's genocidal, it's horrific.
They're not pursuing peace.
I'm not saying.
They're not
I'm saying the
pursuing peace.
opposite,
I don't
Sam.
think Israel is.
Well, you
pursuing
asked me
peace.
what should they have done. I mean, obviously,
asked him
they're
what they
not-
should have done.
They're not pursuing peace. I agree with you. Like quite the opposite. That's not what they're doing. But I'm saying there could have been a path, although it's not. It's. I think, unfortunately, I think their response was inevitable based on everything that happened.
You think it was inevitable that they would kill these many people and they would use food supplies as a weapon, that they would have leveled hospitals and universities and 80–90% of the homes? I mean, how
I don't know to what extent, but like a
Jesus
huge,
Christ,
a
he's a
huge
maniac.
response was definitely inevitable. I'm not justifying it, Sam. You asked me a question. I'm answering it. You're putting this on me like I'm saying.
No. I'm just saying inevitability. I wonder what you must think of an Israeli body politic where this level of atrocity is inevitable.
Well, you described your and Hamas's understanding of the IDF. I wouldn't say that. I can't say to what extent, but you agree that a huge response was inevitable.
I listen. I believe a response that was inevitable by Israel, and that is because I have a much more theoretically jaded view of that country and their agenda, I think, than you. But to expect that what they've done is inevitable.
To what? Well, Sam,
I just wonder, what it is that you think is in that body politic. Listen, I don't think it's inevitable, just to use an example in this country. I don't think that it's inevitable that we are going to be deporting and disappearing.
Man, this is brutal. I can't believe anyone being on
immigrants in
Ethan's
this country.
side
I think
at
it's possible,
all anymore.
but my perspective on America is still too optimistic to think that's inevitable. I can't even imagine what I would think would be inevitable. And I think, listen, our invasion of Iraq and the complete lack of caring and the only thing that would even mitigate that is there were no images coming out of Iraq, or very few, and certainly I was exposing them more than the American population writ large. But to perceive what we did in Iraq as inevitable.
It's a different situation. That's completely, that was completely unpredictable. But we kind of touched on it. And again, to what end this even matters is it doesn't. ultimately. But you know, Hamas knew that they were going to bomb the fuck out of Gaza.
Listen, I would imagine Hamas thought there was going to be a response, but they wouldn't have taken hostages if they thought that they couldn't use those hostages
Well, of course
as a way
they thought they could. I don't deny that. Yeah.
Of deterring Israel from entering, and that was a miscalculation on their part. They presumed that Israel was more interested in those hostages, I think, than they had assumed.
Well,
there's people protesting the government because of
a lot of the civil
in Israel because they're just indiscriminately bombing everyone. Like people want their friends back,
to stop the war,
their loved ones back.
Focus on getting the hostages back and not killing innocent civilians. So that there is.
I wonder about that last part, but
which part?
The part about the killing of innocent civilians. I mean, you know, I think that
I said that's what they're doing.
No. I'm saying I wonder if the Israeli body politic.
Oh, you think the Israelis want civilians to die?
Of course they do.
I think the Israelis.
They killed a bunch of them themselves.
Not all Israelis, but I think that enough of Israelis to maintain this government believe that Palestinians in Gaza, that their lives
look up the Hannibal Directive.
No value, that they are all future enemies, that they that they all represent a threat to
New report
Israel.
says Israel launched the directive allowing killing of captives taken by Hamas on October 7th from the very start.
A twisted perspective.
From the very start.
Just so you know, there were massive demonstrations in Israel. Tens of thousands of people in a country that's relatively small. So I think characterizing like the majority of the public as wanting to kill civilians is a little sick, personally. But
have you watched Have you watched Israelis talk about this shit?
You can say whatever you want.
I'm basing this on conversations with Israeli reporters that there does not seem to be in Israel a majority, at the very least, of people who are concerned about the fate of the Palestinians in Gaza. Certainly, they want hostages, and again, not all Israelis, but you know, look, I can make analogous assessments of the United States at various times about things that reflect poorly on our national body politic as well. But you know, the proof is in the pudding.
Can I tell you something? 300,000 protesters in Tel Aviv, 200,000 in the rest of the country. That's 500,000 people out in the street protesting the government of a country that has like 6 million or 5 million in the.
How big was the pro-rape ones?
About the judiciary?
I'm talking about to release the hostages.
Okay, to release the hostages.
Yeah. To stop, to ceasefire, Sam. That's what that means.
They were
500,000.
They were calling for a ceasefire, or they were calling for a release of the hostages.
Well, what's the point of telling Hamas to release the hostages? Yeah, of course it's a ceasefire, Sam.
Well, but Israel.
It's another one. This is a big protest. Israeli militants riot over investigation into the torture of Palestinian prisoner. The group of protesters includes Israeli lawmakers demanded the release of soldiers suspected of rape.
Has said return of the hostages will not end.
Sam, I'm responding to you saying the majority of Israelis want civilians to die. 500,000 people came to the street for a ceasefire of a country of 5 million, Sam. That's 10%.
Israel just broke the latest ceasefire. Okay, where is the political response from the Israeli people? I mean, the idea that Gazans can be held responsible for an election that happened 18 years ago.
Sam, you said the majority of Israelis want civilians to die.
I think the majority of Israelis do not have a problem with what's going on in Gaza. That is my opinion.
I think that unfortunately might be true to the extent that they've gotten.
Well, then we agree.
They've gotten much more radical. Unfortunately, tragically, everybody's been a lot more radicalized since October 7th, and that's tragic. I agree. I think people in Israel are jaded and they're cynical and they don't care, like you said, and I think it's tragic.
Yes, well, that's what my contention was. I mean, I'm looking at something from May.
Yeah. I wouldn't say most of them want to kill civilians, though.
Well, I think that they
fine
don't.
with them dying.
And I wouldn't say that there isn't a sizable portion of of Israeli citizenry that want a ceasefire. When 500,000 people, Sam, marched out on the street of a country of 5 million for a ceasefire.
This Pew research, 39% say Israel's military response against Hamas and Gaza has been about right. 34% say not gone far enough.
Sure.
Now, granted, that was in May of this past year, so maybe that's changed. I would hope, but that's all the most
it's
recent
horrible.
data I have.
No, I know that the sentiment
40% last year said that Israelis should govern the Gaza Strip.
I know that.
I don't know what's left now.
Yeah, I agree. It's tragic what's happened, because I agree with you that they've become jaded and they've become very comfortable with the idea of violence happening there in general, right? And I think it sucks. I think it sucks is an understatement. I think it's tragic, and I don't know what. Truthfully, the situation is so fucked up that
he's just given up. He's so deflated.
Feels hopeless sometimes, but.
It certainly does. But in the meantime, in this country, and we may not have the opportunity for a while, but we should cease all aid to Israel. We should stop protecting them in the UN.
Everyone involved needs to be put in jail.
We should stop trying
for crimes
to
against
pressure
humanity.
the ICJ and the ICC, and that's
well, incidentally, I agree with all those things too. I think that that's the most we can do as a country to try to stop the war, and it's something that we should be doing. And I think Kamala Harris would have been a lot more likely to do something on that front.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
We won't know.
We can't know, and that's the great thing.
That's the great thing.
I appreciate the time. I gotta go because I'm supposed to have dinner.
Man, cooked him.
Well, I'll say this. This was way more combative than I expected. Ultimately, though, I don't think that we. What do we disagree on? I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe I see too much good in the Israeli population. I don't know what's ultimately the disagreements here.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not. It's largely, in my mind, impossible to really fully assess. I mean, yes, there was a protest last year, 500,000 people who wanted the hostages back. And
ceasefire.
I don't know if there's been. Well, they wanted the hostages back. I don't know.
It's not a magic wand. It's a ceasefire.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
they wanted the hostages back, and they wanted to continue the fucking genocide.
So hold on. Our disagreements is that I'm too optimistic about the Israeli citizenry.
I'm not here to adjudicate.
We are fucking Zionists.
I'm just trying to summarize our conversation. That's all.
Well, I mean, you summarize for you. I'll summarize for me. I think that, it is what it is. And I think I don't remember this conversation. We can put into AI and have it summarize it, but
I'll do that for you, and I'll let you know what it says.
All right,
we'll leave it to the robots. Okay. Sam, I do appreciate you calling in. I do value your input on all this, and I appreciate the conversation. I think it's good to have, conversations like this, like open and honest, even if they're combative. And I think ultimately on the larger points we agree, but we managed to find things to fight about anyway. And that's what two Jews do, isn't it, Sam?
That happens. That's my understanding. Appreciate it. All right, take it easy, man.
Have a great time with your children at dinner there. Enjoy.
Thanks, I will.
Bye.
All right, you too. Bye.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Way different than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, because you don't realize how much of a fucking Zionist you are. You don't get it.
I enjoyed that as a watcher.
Was I owned?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you were owned. I don't think anybody was owned. I think it was two people that are highly opinionated hashing it out. And I think I personally like when people
fucking
do that.
coward ass Dan.
I don't get turned off by the combativeness.
So right.
Maybe it's that's the half Jewish part of me.
But the truthfully is like, again, on the larger points we agree. That's why I take cross with this issue of being like, he's a genocide supporter, he's a fucking baby killer, and all this insane. He goes, Sam, you never heard of hyperbole? Yeah, I've heard of hyperbole. It's fuck. You're
the king of hyperbole.
Yeah. So I mean, like, is my downfall that I have too much faith or I have too much optimism in the Israeli citizenry? Maybe. I guess that's where we differ. That seemed to be where we are differing the most. I don't know.
I think you're right to identify that as and I mean, Sam is older and he's in his 50s or something, and so maybe he's just more jaded.
Yeah, he definitely is more jaded.
Dan.
There's no question about that, and rightfully so, right? Rightfully so.
But yeah, I enjoyed watching that.
I will say, as a Jewish person, the contentious point in the argument of the clip of Hassan, it kind of shocked me, to be honest.
I was a little, to be honest, and as much as I love Sam, he was being very obtuse, in my opinion, when trying to talk about that clip to avoid criticizing Hassan, which is fine. I understand he doesn't want to get into that game, right, of being on record, being like, oh yeah, Hassan shouldn't have said that.
No, he just wants to talk about the actual issues, not your fucking goddamn beef with Hassan.
I greatly disagree with him, and I think it's kind of, it's funny how he talks about how dangerous it is for me to call out anti-Semitism, or how ridiculous it is for me to weaponize it like that. It's like when at the same time,
it's a weird thing because you don't really want to like. I understand the impulse to just want to have a conversation with Sam and keep it with like the here and now of, your beliefs and everything. But, the degree to which the harassment that you and Hila have experienced over the last couple of years, like it is part of the story. And like,
yeah,
it's not.
It's tricky because like I get the
there's a genocide.
To, like,
the little bit of harassment they get is nothing.
That is
shut the fuck up,
a
Dan.
component of all of this. That
and unfortunately, whatever Sam's been peppered with before the debate, I've seen is his co-hosts telling him that I'm obsessed with Hassan, that I'm
you
having
are
a
the
mental
whole
health
fucking time.
break, that I'm
it was like, well, Hassan said this, Hassan said this. This is the big, this is the big, the more part is what Hassan
without
said.
having any of the backstory. That's the flavor he's coming in with. But ultimately, I find. I don't want to speak ill of Sam, right? Yeah, I appreciate him coming and having an honest conversation with me. I was also disappointed by his response to that specific line of questioning, Zach. I share that with you. And I think the way that he was hand-waving away anti-Semitism as like, it doesn't matter that people are discriminating against Jewish people in America because of what's happening in Gaza. And it's like, well, first of all, two different issues, kind of. Whatever's happening in Gaza is one thing, and whatever rise into anti-Semitism we're seeing in America is a whole different fucking thing with its own set of problems. And believe it or not, they're both bad.
What
to
the
the
fuck?
same extent.
Yeah, you keep conflating.
Obviously, one has an immediate horrible effect.
Israel's doing
Gaza
to Judaism,
now.
of course,
And,
there's gonna be a rise in anti-Semitism. Stop doing that.
It's an amorphous, nebulous thing that's like hard to measure and hard to say. And Jews, our whole life in America, people call it the golden age of Judaism is this time, the past 50, 60, 70 years in America for Jewish people. Mm-hmm. We it's hard to tell, right? You go, oh, what is anti-Semitism? What isn't? And when you're allies with people that might are spreading dangerous ideas,
especially
like
if you're a leftist. One of the first things you fucking do as a leftist,
I think he just
has become very much against anti-Semitism because it's one of the first fucking stepping stones to full-on fascism.
And hey, who's to say who's right? I'm right.
Yeah, like.
Oh, there he is.
In response to what Zach was saying, like when I first saw that clip, I didn't see it that way, but I'm I'm not Jewish, so I found it interesting that you guys are having this conversation to give both perspectives. One thing I kind of wish is that you guys both could have defined what Zionism is, like what you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a big point in all of this.
I agree, and it's such a stupid word. Because it has such a broad meaning, and like when Hassan says Zionist tendencies, that's why I think it's important to ask Sam, who I think is avoiding the question, frankly, because he knows that it looks bad. He doesn't want to answer it, so he responds by saying like, "Oh, you think this matters? Let's not talk about the specifics of what Zionist tendency is, because clearly Hassan's not anti-Semitic. Obviously, he doesn't have the context. And by the way, I'm still willing to give Hassan the benefit of the doubt that he's not anti-Semitic, right?
Then stop calling him anti-Semitic over and over again. What the fuck?
I'm willing to, but at what I've said previously is that
how is he?
He's very comfortable
backpedaling
fostering
so much right now.
That is blatantly hateful and anti-Semitic. He's comfortable. You know,
if he was an anti-Semite, why would he go on the show with you in the first place? Why would he be a co-host with a Jewish person? It doesn't make any sense.
So while I don't think he's anti-Semitic, I think he's responsible for perpetuating a lot of it. And I think Sam's refusal to answer questions like what does Zionist tendency means was, a way of him avoiding answering a difficult question that would impugn Hassan. Because, frankly, there's really nothing positive to say about what he did. And so Sam took I guess, if you want to talk about debate, and Sam's a great debater, right? Everybody knows that. He's a great conversationalist. He doesn't really get the best of. Nobody really gets the best of him in conversation. I mean, the only way he could really take that on was to be like, it doesn't matter, in the totality of things. So that's the road he took. What are you talking about? I was disappointed by that as well. But at the end of the day, I knew it was unlikely that he was going to say a bad thing about Hassan. I was specifically trying not to even go there.
Obsessed with fucking Hassan.
That first video of
this
me
has nothing to do with Hassan.
I was kind of surprised that he actually had found something to criticize in it. I had said,
what was it? I don't remember.
Let me rewatch that clip, because I was quite surprised. Like from the beginning, this conversation did not go how I thought it would at all. And it started with this clip here. Let me see.
They're liars and bad faith weirdos. So here's what I'll say about Israel. Okay?
No one cares about this. This was over a year ago. What have you been saying since this?
And many more times. The cabinet is run by genocidal maniacs. Okay.
This is old.
They're led by Netanyahu, who should resign in disgrace and go to prison for being a war criminal. Okay. He's made a coalition of the most radically conservative freaks that don't represent, by the way, the majority of Israelis.
He was saying that there's this talking point that I've seen percolating on the left, which is that, to put it kind of, to summarize it crassly, that Israelis are evil. Basically, I mean, to put it crassly, right? That's kind of what he's saying, is that the majority of Israelis just want civilians to die. I mean, that's kind of what he said, and he didn't even deny it. I think that's insane. I think that's insane. And especially the context of this clip being 2 days after October 7th, I think it was, the sentiment was a lot different before and after and during and now. The sentiment in Israel's changed a lot. So when I said that, I think it was more accurate. I think it's still accurate, but obviously there is a huge problem in Israel of people being, complicit and comfortable with what the military is doing.
Right, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, and I don't want to represent myself as an expert on any of this at all. So if
opinion, Dan.
No, it's definitely not. Just from what I recall reading, is that prior to October 7th. Support for giving the Palestinians a state in Israel was at basically an all-time high, and that has cratered since October 7th, which is the great one of the great tragedies of this whole situation, and kind of dark irony of it is it now feels like we are further than ever from some sort of peaceful solution to all this.
And then the thing that we didn't discuss is that most of the peaceniks.
Let me real-time fact check myself on that, because I mean that's a big claim.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I'm right, but I seem to remember seeing polls that, you know, generally over the course of the last 10 years or so, support for.
I'm speaking like not just from stats, which I have looked up and seen polls and stuff, but like empirically. I lived there in Tel Aviv for 5 years, and I know what the people are like there, right? And obviously, it's a progressive city.
That's likely one of the more progressive pockets.
It is.
In
It
the
is.
country.
It's like Los Angeles or New York is. You know, it's,
Right.
it's a progressive city, right? So, obviously, they'll be more inclined to want peace. But ultimately, what happened on October 7th that we didn't talk about is that a ton of the peace activists, like most of them, lived on the southern border specifically so they could help people in Gaza. They would drive people across the border to the hospital. They would help people get to and from work. They were advocating, you know, they were doing what they could as individuals to help facilitate peace. And many of them, you hear their stories time and time again, were just murdered, slaughtered by Hamas. And I think that's part of what really jaded the Israeli public too, is like, look what happens when you want to support peace. You know, obviously that's not, I don't think, the right conclusion, but that was their conclusion. It's like all the people that wanted peace were murdered by Hamas.
See, like I have, you know, friends or family even that will say that they don't believe there's an innocent Israeli, and I think obviously stuff like that is super dangerous, and
I agree.
I'll never
Thank
agree
you.
with that. But in terms
majority
of,
of
like, you know,
them
the Pew research is
are-
often what's referenced, and again, Sam brought that up, that
In the
there was
military-
only 19%
and they don't
of
say no
people
to the
in May
military.
in Israel from the poll who thought that it went too far. And
I got to see that poll.
yeah, I can
That was from
send it.
May?
Yeah, it was from May 2024. This is
Oh, so
often
it's
referenced.
a little old, but I don't know if that's changed. Let's see.
Well, it's May tomorrow, so it's basically a year old, right?
Yeah.
I think, like, I totally agree that the public is way too comfortable and complicit in all this. I think the question of do they want to end the war, I think this is, I mean, yeah, it's disturbing, you know what I mean? But let me see what this says. Israelis are divided over the country's military response. Percent who say Israel's military response against Hamas in Gaza has gone too far, been about right, not gone far enough, which is crazy, right? That's crazy. These are the radicals for sure. I think people who are like, yeah, it's been about right. It's more like, again, I'm maybe, you know, people will say I'm being too optimistic. I see that as like, we've done enough. And like,
Jesus Christ, that's not
we've
what
done
it says.
Everything we can do.
You're just gonna completely ignore the people are like, no, this is good. We're doing the appropriate amount of genocide.
Well, I'm saying the people are saying, yeah, right. Like ideally, looking at it objectively, you would say it's gone too far. But to, you know, be charitable, I think
You can't be charitable about that. That's it says exactly what it is.
Are trying to say that
they're not trying to say anything. They're saying exactly what it is. They voted on it. It hasn't gone far enough. More genocide, please.
I mean, not gone enough, far enough.
Or this is just enough genocide for me.
Like,
perfect amount of genocide.
Israel will blank in achieving its goals in the war. Definitely fail. Probably succeed. Definitely succeed. 40%. So I mean, people in Israel have faith that.
This is
I don't even know.
That same one from back in May.
This is from March 3rd to April.
We're gonna watch the
2024.
The Louis Theroux documentary. The Settlers.
I don't know where the war was or what it was happening back then.
Be prepared for that.
That may have been during the time of like the hot war.
Yeah, I'm not
Which
sure.
I think tensions were even more peaked at that time. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's disturbing. I don't deny that.
It'll kind of put some perspective on the fucking Israelis.
Sam talks about the, you know, I don't see it being productive being like Israelis are evil. I don't see the point of saying that.
Well,
like, and it's like, well, what do you want to do about it? You say the majority of Israelis want civilians to die, and it's like, why do they think that? You know, it's just like, well, I don't know, but they're evil. They just don't care. They're just callous. I mean, look, human beings are human beings everywhere. You know, a lot of leftists don't want to engage in humanizing Israelis. They just don't want to do it because.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like what's happening in Gaza is awful. And they think that it's insignificant in comparison. And I understand where they're coming from, of course.
Do you?
But I believe that both are important.
Oh, God.
And
Such full of shit, this guy.
The totality of what's happening in Gaza is not in dispute. About
all right, okay, let's keep all of that in mind. What he's saying about...
more. But I do think that it's important. And I care about Israel, and I care about Israelis. You know, that's it. And so I choose to see the good and to see the optimistic. And like, obviously I have no effect over what the public thinks about the war. I'm not fucking living there. I'm not. When I was living there, I voted against Netanyahu. And by the way, Netanyahu lost the popular vote. He only won because he made a coalition with some psychopath like ultra-nationalists. But the left party, when I voted, won the popular vote. But because of the parliamentary system, where you make coalitions to get over 50%, they were unable to secure the victory.
I think Netanyahu may be the devil. Like, honestly, even his voice, I think he may be the fucking devil. And he's just passing out beepers
Jesus
to everyone.
Fucking Christ.
The gold beeper to Trump.
Dude, that's so fucked
He gave
up.
one to a senator. And
I think that's so
or a congressman. I forget who it was. He's like, yo, that
it was John Fetterman. I
yeah,
remember.
he's like, yo, that was dope when you guys did that. I have a family friend whose son had a beeper go through his stomach. Like,
then how are you sitting there in front of this guy? Okay, anyway, keep in mind everything that fucking Ethan was saying. We're gonna watch this document.
Do not force the government.
How the fuck are people like this the head of a childcare unit? That's terrifying, Jess.
We do for governments what they cannot do for themselves.
Oh, poor me, lady. Okay, because she's
even if you take Netanyahu now,
directly
he's
organizing
very happy
settlements.
What we do here, and
Fuck.
also about our plans to build Jewish communities in Gaza. He's happy about it.
But yeah, to justify this, you have to be the perpetual victim. Like, you got to be like, oh, I'm the victim. I'm doing this to save me. Unsettling to say the fucking least. Full on disturbing, like bone-chillingly disturbing.
From some in power.
Also, by the way, they're ripping on Louis Theroux. They're like, this fucking anti-Semitic guy, fucking disgusting anti-Semite. All he did was give the mic to rabid Zionists and let them talk. Oh, yeah. This is my whole life. This is my whole life. This is everything. I deserve it. Honestly. It's such a weird argument. God promised us this land. Then why didn't you hold on to it a little harder? What's wrong with you guys?
Illegally, according to international law, on land deep inside the occupied West Bank.
Also, like, it's just delusional. It's so delusional. Religion just causes people to fucking break their brains so hard. Like, if you could use religion to justify an ethnic cleansing campaign in an ethno state, then, like, it's not good. It needs to be dismantled.
Hi. We're going to...
Oh, you're walking... Oh, hell yeah. There's some similarities in that war. But in the end, Vietnam, the approved documentary that came out from the BBC, this is what they are allowed to say. I'm guarantee that this was way worse than what they're... Don't drop out of school. Just, I don't know, try your best to focus on it. It's worth it, trust me. I dropped out of school, and I regret it, so... Don't drop out of school. Stay in school. Be cool. Stay in school. Be cool. See, that's so scary. That's why anti-Semitism is rising. Being like, this is what Jews believe. They believe in an ethno-state that requires the elimination of a people. That will cause people to be like, oh, then I don't like that. And then you have built yourself an anti-Semite. which it's wrong. Anti-Semitism is really bad, and yeah, it's growing for wrong reasons. But this is part of the cause of it growing. It's fucking crazy Zionists thinking that this is fine. And saying it's in the name of Judaism.
It's clear.
That's the fucking cojones of steel right there. Fucking telling an IOF soldier, we're not in Israel, we're in the West Bank. Fuck, man. They shoot people for far less than that. You're lucky you're Louis Theroux. You'd be fucking kidnapped, tortured for shit like that. Yeah, mad respect. No, he's so cool.
I was heading back to the settlement of Eviatar.
He's so cool.
Where I'd been hosted by Malkiel.
This is a wild thing. He's getting dragged. Like, everyone's calling him an anti-Semite, which is so crazy. It's like he literally just let the Zionists talk. He doesn't. He barely says anything in this documentary, like that are like his own opinion. Fucking out of your mind. Like, you just have no goddamn like sense of morality to bring your children to a settlement. Like, hey, let's go live in this potentially dangerous place because we just stole their houses, so maybe they'll retaliate justifiably. Like, this is a war crime, doing settlements like that. You're gonna bring children there? That's despicable. Absolutely fucking despicable.
One of those speaking was Daniela.
He's so fucking tall, like a foot taller than everyone. Also, I've been reading this thing, like this thing about kneecap getting targeted and people like being investigated by an anti-terrorism London group or whatever the fuck. But like, they're really, kneecap's not the story. Gaza's the story. Genocide's the story.
In our exclusive wine.
Yeah, so that's Louis Theroux's documentary that was on the BBC, surprisingly. I'm surprised that was allowed to happen. What are these idiots up to?
At least in Israel, I know it's normal when you greet.
Yeah.
Israel, and I think at least in Israel, I know it's normal when you greet a girl, you go.
There's lots of cultures that do that.
Yeah.
But you don't really kiss. You touch.
Where I'm from,
cheeks and make a kiss sound.
Yeah. Unless, I have one uncle. He's too lazy to go.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I have it in me. I'm so fucking tired. I think I'm sick. I don't know. I can't still be hungover, right? I only had fucking 6 drinks. And I got so sick yesterday all day. All day I was so sick. Pathetic. Oh, what did I have? I had the Nick Mullen on this one.
Come in. Do I go in now? No, you come in, you sit in the middle. Right now. Okay. And then for today's co-host, we have Mike, Terry's Casual Terry's Mike. Welcome in as the co-host.
Casual.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Matan, young man.
Thanks.
You're the you're the new guy in the game, right?
In which one?
I don't know, whatever this bullshit is.
Business and running stocks and enterprises.
Well, I don't know about stocks. What the
like making the new wave of crypto markets.
Do you have a cryptocurrency?
Not of my own name, but also like I started Nick Mullen coin.
Okay. Well, I can't promote that, or you gotta be careful with that. They're getting the blowjob girl now. She's going to jail.
Who, Haktul?
Yeah.
Yeah, she went to sleep.
I got a bone to pick with that lady.
Why? She's sleeping right now.
What do you mean she's sleeping?
She went to sleep. She had that big crypto scam and she went to sleep after.
She went to sleep?
She said it was getting late. She's still sleeping, I heard.
Oh, she like tweeted that or something?
She was on a Twitter space and she said that she had to end the Twitter space. She said she was going to go to sleep and
my problem with her is this. I don't think you should be allowed to become famous for saying you're the best at sucking dick and then we never see that happen.
So you think she needs to? Wow.
That's funny. Haktua. Yeah, okay, the Hannibal Directive, we've talked about that. The protests, the pro-rape protests that Israel did, saying that they should be able to assault Palestinians as much as they want. It's fucking Jubilee. I'm not subbed to this thing.
He's not necessarily.
I fucking hate Jubilee, goddamn fascists. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna hop off. Bye, everyone.